8 yards from goal. Thoroughly unforgettable performance. Performance. Performance.
Fans across Ontario and around the world to another exciting season of curling on Title Sports Live. Today we have live coverage of the Ontario U21 Men's and Women's Curling Championship being held here at the Annandale Golf and Curling Club in Ajax, Ontario. My name is Mary Chilvers and I'm joined here today by the 2018 Canadian Mixed Champion Danielle Inglis. Good evening, Danielle.
Good evening, Mary. It's nice to be here and to be part of this Ontario U21 Championship. This event, it features some of the top young curlers from all around the province competing for a chance to represent Ontario at the National U21 event being held January 13th through 21st in Shawinigan, Quebec.
So the feature game we have tonight here is the Team Wallingford from the Ottawa Curling Club, and they are going up against Team ROZON from the Dundas Valley Golf and Country Club.
Two very strong teams, though. I mean, at the end of the week, we talked earlier the week about how strong the fields were on the men's and women's side, and just to give you an idea of how strong, the Wallingford team is coming into this game at 4-0, and the ROZON team is coming in at still searching for their first win. But if you look at their overall season and their Ontario Junior Curling Tour ranking, they're actually quite close. So Wallingford is ranked number 1 on the under-21 OJCT, and ROZON is number 3.
Right, so very close in the standings. And sometimes the standings here don't reflect how good a team is. This is a game of inches, and sometimes it's just not your game. So this one will be good. They'll want to win this one tonight.
Exactly. And speaking with the coach for the ROZON team earlier today, heard in their other games what had happened. The common theme seemed to be giving up a big steal at some point during most of their games. So, so those are some of the cases where you definitely have your destiny in your hands, and they had let it slip away, and unfortunately they let it slip away 4 times. And the Wallingford team, very, very strong.
So the ROZON team has the hammer here in the first end of play.
could take a look at the rest of the standings.
Right, so on the women's side, right now we have Wallingford is alone in first place at 4-0. And then we have Murphy and Auld, both at 3-1. Camille and Little at 2-2. Steele and Warner at 1-3, and Rosen at 0-4.
On the men's side, we have two undefeated teams. Team Hall and Team Wilsey both have 4-0. We have Leong alone at 3-1. Richard and Marshall 2-2. Fayez 1-3, and still searching for their first wins, Team Han and Team Steve.
So this is a big game for all the teams out there. Danielle.
It is. This is kind of like we call it moving day if we were in a longer competition,
right.
But we'll call it moving draw right now.
Yeah.
These are the games where teams can really be jockeying for the position at the top. And speaking of the top, the playoff structure. So we have three teams that make the playoffs. The top of the round robin standing is going directly into the final. And number 2 and 3 play off in a semi to determine who will meet the other team in the final. So typical, as we've seen from many of the games out here, is that I think first end fairly straightforward, open hits.
Yeah. Not a surprise.
I mean, a lot of that, we talked to the teams. We knew this going in, but also talking to the teams after they confirmed it. They're mostly just trying to bank time.
Yeah.
They have 38 minutes of thinking time in these 10 end games, and they're wanting to make sure they have enough time that they're comfortable at the end.
Do you think, Danielle, if these were 8-end games, if they'd have that same strategy?
It's funny. I was just thinking that. And
yeah.
I think they would for one end, but I don't think you'd see it go on for 2 or 3 ends.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll admit it now, I'm in favor of 8-end games because you get straight to the point.
Yeah.
Especially with the 5 rock free guard zone rule coming into effect next year. Mm-hmm. That will still allow teams enough time to come back. One of the arguments for the 10-end game is that if a team is down, let's say you drop a big end early on, if you have 10 ends, you have plenty of time to come back.
Right.
But if you have 8 ends in a 5 rock free guard zone rule, I see no reason why that won't even things out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting if they eventually go to the 8 ends on these big championships.
But of course, we won't see that happening until the World Curling Federation makes a ruling on that, and we won't be seeing it in the next 4 years.
Exactly.
I like the same. It was a bit down.
So these teams, we allude to the fact that they're playing on the Ontario Junior Curling Tour and the Junior Slam Series circuit. But not only that, we've seen both of these teams this season also try their hand at some of the women's events. So, as a matter of fact, I've had a pleasure of playing both of them throughout the season. So the Wallingford team twice and the ROZON team once this season.
So they play in some of the local ladies' bonspiels?
They did.
Yeah.
We're blessed to have so many spiels in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Great teams. So and they were able to do that. And I mean, that's a great training tool.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that earlier, Mary, how just playing up was really improved the game.
Yeah. Yeah, the best way to learn is to play against teams that are as good or better than you, right? It's just going to make you a stronger player.
And expecting at this age that you'll have some losses.
Yeah.
And you've got to be okay with that. And really, the ones who can show the maturity and grace to get through that and take them as learning experiences are the ones who are going to come out on top. So I know the ROZON team they're great students of the game, and they truly truly embrace the spirit of it.
I met those girls just half an hour ago, and they're quite the characters, actually. Really, they seem like really nice, fun girls.
They are, and we'll get to know them more in the second end. And each of the players give us a few fun facts about themselves. And this team decided to take a different approach to it, where the players filled out the fun facts about each other. So each teammate. So we'll have a different take on the fun facts.
What's he saying?
The other thing that with throwing straight hits throughout this game, or throughout the first end, we heard a few teams come off after first practice talking about the ice being heavier than they had seen it before. And that, so by playing hits, you're breaking down the ice surface. So another good strategy, especially if that was the case out there. We were hearing times, we've been getting more of 15-15-2 for draws. I'd seen more even in second practice. It was closer to 14-14-5.
Was that on this sheet, Danielle? Yeah? Okay. A little heavier tonight.
Good. A little tight. They held it, so that's good. Hey, just 9. Not bad. Little curl will stay close. I wonder what fun facts they're talking about.
So all these teams are competing to be playing at the national event, and it takes it to a whole other level. And that's an arena you're very familiar with at the national event, Mary. What would you say it takes to be a champion, and what do these players need to be bringing out here?
Well, you know, I just think try not to think of the prize at the end of the week. So focus on the process and not the outcome sort of thing. It's really hard the further you get into this, and if you make playoffs, you're in the semifinal, you're in the final, it's pretty hard to not think about what winning is going to mean. And that means going to a Canadian championship, which is every athlete's dream, really. So whatever that takes to make you just, try to focus on the process, which is just making your shots. Because if you make your shots, you're probably going to have a good outcome and probably win the game. Easier said than done, though, right?
Just throw the right weight at the broom. No problem.
Well, sounds simple. It sounds simple.
And these athletes make it look simple sometimes.
Yes. Well, you just won Ontario Mixed last year and just won the Canadian Mixed. So, again, you'd be a good one to answer that question.
Well, I would say the patience, perseverance, and positive attitude, huge.
Yeah.
These are long weeks, and especially this is 5 days. But once you get to a national championship, as you know, it stretches over a week or slightly more, especially when you factor in travel time. So you need to be prepared for a long week and expect and prepare yourself as best as possible. But I feel that really expecting how you're going to deal with wins, how you're going to deal with losses, even more importantly. The teams who can keep a good mental space and a positive attitude are the ones who are going to be able to stick it through. You speak of my recent experience. I'm the first one to put my hand up and say I struggled at the beginning of the week at the Canadians. We got on ice that was it was straighter than what I had been used to playing on for the season, and I needed to make some adjustments. But in the meantime, it was frustrating. You're at a Canadian championship, you want to perform, and it wasn't up to par of my expectations.
Right.
So But again, it's just having that confidence and keeping that positive headspace, having teammates that support you.
Yeah. And that is so hard to do when you are in a slump.
Mike is so annoying, actually.
How do you get out of it? Do you know what I mean? And sometimes the harder you try, the worse you get. It's a tough one.
Nicer. Get it. Pretty gradual, easy to read. Peel.
But yeah, it helps to have teammates that can sort of get you through that and be supportive.
That's exactly it. I end up saying to Mike, I was like, okay, something's got to change. I gotta throw this rock differently, have to broom it differently, or something's got to change because I knew the answer was me. I think he was just being really nice to me at some point, saying, "Oh, that's consistent." It wasn't consistently what I wanted, but in the end, the straightforward answer, putting a positive spin was. For me, was what was needed, and I mean that's what's needed out here as well.
Yeah.
And that's so on our feature sheet. That's Team ROZON kicking off the scoring with a single point in end one. So that will be Team Wallingford with the hammer going into end two.
They throw a guard. You guys like going around it?
I don't think they'll throw a guard. If they do, I think we go on the wing.
Okay, sounds good.
The call was right into top four for the lead, Jillian Page from Team ROZON. She is actually interesting. She used to play with Team Wallingford, so she's quite familiar with these ladies. And one of her proudest moments in curling is winning the Sportsmanship Award at last year's provincials.
Oh, nice.
It was incredible. And interesting facts, as written by her teammate, she loves everything. So I guess she's one of those people who says, yeah, I love that.
Okay.
She has a twin sister. Is that true? Or are we having fun with that?
I don't know.
It is true. We have the confirmation from the coach. We knew they had some fun with the stats.
So they're kidding.
But she also loves traveling, so.
Really? My God, there's a lot of siblings and twins in this competition.
Queen, yep. Queen. Queen. No, it's good.
This is Hannah Wallingford.
Little roll in. Good.
Her hobbies, she's very good at sleeping, which comes in handy. You had mentioned that, how important it was, Mary, to get some good sleep for this competition. And
yeah, she's lucky if she can do that. Yeah. Some people can't.
Long weeks, you need to be well rested, well prepared. So glad to hear that that is no issue for the second on Team ROZON.
This is Lindsay Dubé, second for the Wallingford team. She's got lots of experience. 2014, 2015 Bantam champion with Team Macmillan. 2015 U18 Optimist gold medalist with Macmillan. 2017 Canadian Junior silver medalist with Armstrong. Her proudest moment, of course, is winning this event last year.
Throwing third stones for Team ROZON is Melanie Bach. She has been
This is Grace Holyoke. Again, 2017 Canadian
Rock a bit, yeah. Whoa. Don't think it's...
She was on the first team All-Star team.
Should be good.
At the
Good,
Nationals.
Grace.
Oh, and get this for an interesting fact. She shook Donald Trump's hand in 2013.
Oh, 9-9. Tenure.
that certainly is an interesting fact.
Curled up at the end, like it was weird.
Clean it. Clean. Clean it.
Clean!
Yep. Yep.
I didn't think I threw too much weight, but
Good.
you guys were saying solid the whole way down.
9-5.
Okay, I didn't think I kicked it that much, so
9-5.
right?
9-5, yeah. Is that a little tight or is that okay? No, you're good.
Clean it!
Nope.
Clean!
Pretty good. Clean! Yep! Yep! Free throw.
I feel like I'm throwing them positively.
Yeah.
Like, am I being really That's why I was saying on yours.
The skip of Team ROZON is Brianna.
Like maybe you think something.
And she curled with Melanie and
Yeah, I
took home
agree.
that bronze
No, I
at the CIS in Kelowna in 2016.
I think it should curl up here.
Well, some fun facts about her is that she used to live in
Got some curl
Trinidad
there.
for 5 years,
Got some
also lived
curl
in
there.
Calgary for a
I
summer.
got some curl on mine. I don't know why.
And in other interesting news,
Like,
is
I thought
unable to do a
she's
Curtis
throwing them super
accent.
straight, like,
So
know
I
he does
feel
it,
like
but
they
I
had
don't
a
know.
team game at some point.
Yeah.
It's like super straight. And I don't even know how she goes that straight.
You can tell from even reading these bios of what the girls are talking about each other that they truly enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Clean,
Yeah.
just clean, just clean.
And curling has become a bit of a business at the elite level,
Nice there.
but
Nice there.
especially when you're still young, you're still developing. Teams need to have fun.
Good, Bree. Yeah. Curls up nice there for sure.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
What?
That was 10 on the dot.
Okay. Yeah. We're just throwing 9 because I think this side moves a little bit more.
And the skip of this team is Emma Wallingford, 2017 junior provincial runner-up. For her proudest moment in curling when my grandfather said he was proud of us after the junior provincials in 2017. She says he is tough on us.
You okay?
Wonder if he's watching.
Tough love.
I
Yeah.
think I was getting that out. Sorry. Probably coulda.
Yeah. 10. Like down?
Bree. Snows, yeah?
Yeah. Theirs ran kind of straight.
You're a
so
little
we'll
tight
see.
in your hand, but not
No,
much.
no, it just curled.
It curled a lot, actually.
Theirs ran kind of straight when they hit one here. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Their releases are a lot different. Yeah, they were once, but their releases are a lot different. So I'm just gonna throw 10. See what happens. Oh, you're on like this. Right when I was sliding down, right in front of the camera.
When you were sliding?
Right when I was at the house.
Oh.
I was like, Lindsay.
So you can hear the teams commenting on their thoughts on different throws and how one player might throw different than the other, or one team might throw different than another. So even though these are simple, straightforward hits or draws, they're always constantly learning something.
That was tight. Yeah, not as solid.
That's my bad.
Yeah, not everybody has the same release, and sign of a good skip is to be able to read their players' releases and ice them properly.
Why right now? Oh, it's a good thing.
Bree. Bree.
Well, I'm not hot. Like my body's not cold, but my hands are warm. Yes.
Also, speaking of getting something out of every shot, you have Team Wallingford throwing a rock and a pass so they get to know it.
Did you bring some out?
And this is going to be a blank by Wallingford.
That didn't move at all.
So it is Team ROZON who maintains the 1-0 lead after
Your
2
weight is,
ends,
like,
and
perfect.
Wallingford will take the hammer into the third.
Recess!
Her weight's like perfect right now.
Yeah.
On her hits, I got 10 even and 1 point.
Yes. For a
Yeah,
second,
and
I did.
throughout-
Yeah. Why do you think it
Throughout this game, we'll keep an eye on the other games on the ice and update you on the scores. Who haven't already found the website, it's ontcurl.com/scoreboard if you're wanting to keep track.
No, because I forgot that they blanked percent. Like they didn't.
But for
blank.
right now, we
I
have
forgot
7
that
other
they
sheets out on the ice. So over on sheet 1, it's Team Richard with a 1-0 lead over Team Han.
Hannah, but
Team Little with a 1-0 lead over Team Kamel. Blank end between Fayez and Steep to kick off the
Line
first.
curling
Team
nicely.
All 1-0 over Team
Yep.
Steel. Blanks
nicely,
on the
easy.
Hull and Leung game, as well as the Warner and Murphy game. And also a blank over on sheet 8. 0-0.
Okay, not quite. Your weight's
Thin,
like
but that's
perfect
okay.
right now. I got 10-1 on that. On your other one.
nice hitting again. This is so boring. Be exciting. They're being boring. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
Little side!
Yep.
Whoa! Yep. Away, Lindsay, away. Okay.
All right.
So the first ROZON Brock,
He's like squatting on the
cut
ice.
half
Like,
into the
are you
12
trying to
foot.
fix his release in the middle of the game?
and we saw
I don't mind you hitting
Wallingford
those.
go up and hit, and actually it was fully in the 12 because this rock is now also in the house, so available to hit. So if they nose, that would actually be a pretty good position, because if I were Team ROZON right now, I'd want to be forcing Wallingford to take a single in the uneven ends. So now, in order to do that, you really do need a guard.
Just clean.
Yeah, and what's good about that shot is Wallingford is not
Okay.
able to hit it because it's in the free guard zone. So
I
she's
like
going to
the
be
wing.
forced to come in the house here.
What?
Playing very conservatively. She's chosen to draw to the open side here.
Basically what that's saying is that she's happy with the blank end.
Good job, buddy. Like three. Okay. Five. No, it's good. It's good. That looks heavy. It looks heavy. Oh, I don't think it's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah.
And your favorite, Mary, going out to the wings.
Yeah,
Your
that's good.
advice for these teams?
It's always quicker to the wings. This one worked out for them, but it is back 12. They were probably fooled a little bit.
10. It just looks really light out of her hand. No. But clean it. She thought it would be nicer, so maybe, I don't know. Hard.
So by going to the wings
Yep,
here,
hard.
they're drawing the play away, and because
It looks really light out of
ROZON
her hand.
doesn't have the hammer, and they don't want to give up a deuce to
She'll get it.
the
She got it.
Wallingford team.
Good.
They're going to be hitting that. Actually, a not bad result here. They did get a roll. It's open, but not fully, as you can see from this camera angle.
No. You're really against the draw? I don't like that. Yeah, it did. I didn't have to do anything. I don't mind the draw. Like, if we make it, we're good. Okay. It's the call T line? Okay. You got it. Yes! Keep. Oh, room. Need that. We need that. Yep, Ben, yep. It might stop. It's too late to call that. Okay. All right. Good. Probably should have touched that.
The nice hand roll in behind here will force ROZON to play the draw around, which
Quick now.
it's nice to see some rocks in play. So not unhappy about this at the least from a TV viewing perspective. But also this is, again, with that guard up there,
Yeah.
this is how you force a single point.
Well, we've seen a lot of it slowing down. We haven't seen much. Wait only. Yeah, I guess. 8 now. 8, 9. Not back to it. I think it's back to it already.
It does have a nice finish once it gets
Okay,
close to the
that's good.
center line area, and you can see it curl right up. They'd wanted it above the tee, but really frozen to the back was the tolerance on this shot.
I did not think that was going to move that far. What? I didn't think that was going to move that far. Oh. Sorry, I thought it was going to stop. We can wait. Line only right now. It's heavy. Not too heavy. We haven't touched it yet. Yes! Line only! Oh! Line only! Just clean it in. Good throwing. Good, Lynn.
Great throw here. Again, they're still calling for it above the tee, but making sure that it's back is very important, that it's shot rock.
Yeah, and like K through 4.
Looks to me like the ice is sliding pretty good tonight, Danielle.
But we didn't touch
It's
that
gone
one
up
at
to
all.
speed, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Like, I don't think so. It looks about the same. Line's a little tight, Jill. No, then, don't touch it. No. Jill, go early, I think. No. It's really hot. Where is it? It's hot. Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, room. Close. Yep. Hard. Okay. Whoa. Really nice. Jess. When you're like squatting, watching your shot, like after you throw, you look like
That's quite the line of rocks
no,
there.
It is, isn't it?
Your hat just like points up.
That's
pretty quick.
It's great that
Perfect straight line there.
the players are really getting a handle on and a read on the ice. No
It
crashing on
looks kind of
guards or
funny,
being
but I
very.
mean, we're all rocking it right now, so it's fun.
And you'd think we shouldn't sound so surprised about this, but given the some of the ice conditions, some of the players have been fluid. We haven't perhaps seen such perfection in come arounds as some of the teams are used to giving us.
We can't bounce right now. Yep. Great throw, Grace.
Beautiful, precise shot.
Another great shot.
Beautiful shots
Yeah.
in a row, and
Yeah.
there's not much we can say about how some of this precision that we're seeing here. The ROZON team is looking to hold them to 1, and Wallingford is looking for 2. So at this point, it's just about manipulating the angles to your favor.
Right.
I told Jess she looks like a munchkin, like a smurf or something, especially after she throws. You can see her hair, and then she got the little hat. I love it. I love how everyone's wearing like hats and skirt jackets. Yep. Like I get it. It's a bit overkill. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Down.
So they were hoping to raise that yellow one back so that they could be shot and manipulate those angles.
I wonder if I turned because it literally curled so
Yeah, I
much.
think she just turned that one in a bit.
And that's a spot we've seen that it does curl, especially with a little help.
Yeah.
So now a guard here guarding that shot rock in the forefoot will force Wallingford to have to play a really solid draw around for shot.
Right out of your hand, it didn't look like it had a chance, you know? Yep. Sounds good. Still aren't bad for us. Like that red's going, hopefully. Yeah, it's the yellow. The yellow, it would be tough to get the yellow to stay. A 5. It's so lively. Oh my god. Just 3, 4. Yeah, like even your 2, 3 is okay. For not touching the rock, and then we like just hit it, and it was like. No. Go a bit. Yep. Healing? Okay. Good. Good. Nice. Yeah. Run.
Excellently placed guard.
On the nose, basically. Yeah.
Though they would have liked to put that a few feet higher.
Be gone.
As you can hear Wallingford talking about the run.
Yeah.
They're like, throw it really fast. So throw it to us. Like they're 45. Nice. And it was still a 3. It is really fast. Like, wow. The ones I threw were like 4.
She just doesn't. She doesn't want to hurt herself here, so she's got to be a bit careful.
Okay. So my hot pockets right now are in my vest.
You're right. There is the potential of when you're running back an opposition rock into the pile that you could leave the opposition staying a few.
Exactly.
Though I do like the ice that she's taking. She took tight ice on this, so this is a spot where you can sweep it back if need be.
Right. So the ROZON team will just try to put another guard up.
I imagine they're going for a few feet higher.
Yeah.
Felt like a faster slide, but. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let it drop. Good.
I replaced the guard pretty much in the same spot, a few feet higher, so great guard. And it's true, it's not much else.
No.
You wouldn't want to try that. As you mentioned, Mary, there's
Yeah.
a good chance of a jam.
Yeah.
What do you think T is? Like
She's just drawing against one here. Good chance to draw the button, get her draw weight.
I think that's probably close, yeah. Because those are what, 40s? Room! Lots of room! That's good! T-line!
Supers picked up early, but now we're backing right off. I clocked that at 14:10, so should be sailing. And that is a steal 1 for Team ROZON. So they lead 2-0 over Team Wallingford. It'll be Team Wallingford with the hammer going into end number 4. Having a look across the sheets of ice. Over on sheet 1, Team Han and Team Richard are both tied at 1. Team Little picked up a steal of 1 in the second end, and they now lead Team Kemal 2-0. Team Fayez forced a single in end 2, so they're up 1-0 over Team Steep. Team Ald 1-0 over Team Steel. Team Leon picked up a 1 in the second and then a steal of 1 in the third, so they lead 2-0 over Team Hall. It's a series of blanks, 3 blanked ends by Team Warner and Team Murphy on sheet 6. And on sheet 8, we have 2 points from Team Marshall.
We got a good handle, I think, on it. They're putting a corner up, so I say we guard that. No, it's above the T-line! I would have said something else.
So you see Grace is in the house right now. Emma just run to the bathroom. So in that case, the teams are on the time clock and they only have 30 seconds between ends. So they need to play.
You don't like it when you guard your own rock, right? Really grinds my gear. No, line's fine, line's fine. You don't need to finish it. You don't need to finish it. You do not need to finish it. Line's really good. You don't need to finish it. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Hannah. You got it. Those are ideal. Line's good. It's out. 2. Hey, clean it. Okay, then don't touch it. Then just leave it. Okay. Clean it. You might have to finish it. Yep. Yep. Little bit. Little bit. Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, I think that's good. Good. Over curl a bit.
It did overcurl just a hair. It's as soon as you start getting by that center line, it's going to finish hard.
Yeah. Being up 2 points, I think that guard is just not tight enough, Danielle. I don't mind the guard because the rock in the house is so good. It's right on the button. But I'm thinking a couple of inches off the top of the rings is the best guard in this situation.
See the players switching, so what they're trying to do is when they want the rock to curl more, they have the downstroke in the same direction that the rock is going. If they need to hold it straight, they have the downstroke away from the curl. So that's what you saw. And the player, Lindsay, just switched back and forth quite naturally.
Yeah, she did. That was a nice shot, actually, from the Wallingford team. And that's the problem with that red center line guard that was left a little bit long.
And these striking bands are so active that it doesn't take much contact in order to send them flying. So I removed them both from up there, but the red is still kicking around on that side.
Another option here for the ROZON team would be to go up and peel that corner guard. You know, right now the situation doesn't look bad for ROZON, but a couple rocks from now it could be a little bit different. So she doesn't want to get into too much play here. Too many rocks.
Agreed. They're really going for the steal here, and as we're seeing here, they're getting a bit of an overcurl, and this will open the door of opportunity for the Wallingford team.
Yeah, she could have even hit the yellow rock in the house.
I mean, the angle's not perfect here for Wallingford as it's set up because the red rock is still guarding a piece of it. But as we've seen, as soon as it gets close to the center line, no matter which way it finishes, so that guard being halfway, it should be able to finish quite nicely.
I didn't think you were that light, though.
Again, important here to throw nice weight and stick around after this shot is thrown. Having two yellow rocks in the rings, even if they're not shot rock, is still a good situation. Again, they should bring that in.
I'm liking the aggression of the ROZON team here and what they're playing. they really seem to be going for the steal.
Yeah.
And, at this point, we mentioned earlier on in the game how the ROZON team was 0-4 it coming into this, so they ended up they're essentially out of it at this point. It would take quite a few calamities for that to happen. So they're able to really just play their game or try out new opportunities. But it's really liking what we're seeing. Couple shot options they talked about. They talked about tapping back that yellow rock. But I think they selected the right choice here, playing a soft weight tap and roll. A tasty looking double Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Big turn of events for the Wallingford team, so they're sitting 2 and need to figure out how to put a third one in. See the sweeper's picking this up and the rock really diving in towards that guard. That's not the first team to be fooled by that spot.
Yeah. So this is a soft weight hit and roll coming from the ROZON team. And this is on the line. We're inside the 4 foot, so we should see some movement here, but it's sort of flirting with the 8 foot here.
So it's a very weight and release sensitive spot.
But it actually, it was pretty gradual. Like, it just, I don't, it's tough with how active the rocks are. And you know how much you
I know.
Like, we hit most of that rock.
I know. For a second, I thought we lost it. You said yup, then I said whoa, and then I said yup right away.
Oh,
And I thought we
clean.
lost it.
Clean it. Close. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay.
Not bad. Yeah.
Thanks.
Draw, yeah.
11 or 9.
That? Okay. Oh, much?
Yeah.
They keep saying,
Oh, I like
solid, you know.
Oh, Hannah threw this. Hannah threw this and this should be fine. Okay.
So Team Wallingford saying 1 over on the side 8. If they can put a rock in for second shot, not too deep. They want to keep it so that the ROZON team can't freeze to it and sit second shot.
I think we need to be a little bit more than full 8. That's good! What are you fighting for? Yep! Yep! Low! Room! Yes! Hard! Room! Whoa, room! Where? Whoa, whoa. No, no, I don't think so. Okay, then go. Whoa, 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 we gotta be second. Whoa!
Well, with the rock slipping into the back 8, it's only the shot rock is over on the side 8, but guarded.
But we want to be shot. Yeah. Okay.
So that opens the door, Team ROZON. This could be a steal opportunity. If they can put this rock right in the top 4 foot buried, and we know that this is a spot that curls, so this is a very makeable shot. But they need to make sure they're in there for at least second shot.
Stop. Like hers kept going forever. Yeah. Easy.
Close. Yep. Line, yep. Okay, you room.
Switch.
All you, all you.
Finish it hard. Yes. Go. Hard. Hard. Get shot. Hard.
Hard, 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 hard.
And it looks like they just managed to get shot. Though unfortunately where they landed,
Don't think so.
there's a double here off of the other red.
Roll into it and bump it. Okay. We're getting 1. We're hitting it really thick. And if we hit it, even if we just tap it to here, we're getting 2. Okay. Hitting it thick? Yeah. Like an 8? Even if we hit the underside of it, we'll bump it up. Okay. Throwing the out turn?
And this shot is very makeable for, well, 1 for sure, but I would say if they make at least some solid contact with that second red rock on the center line, these striking bands are so sharp that it's quite easy for at least 2, if not 3.
They just thought it was going to keep going because we were saying how hers just like went on forever. Like they seem to be really like carrying, so I think they just didn't want to oversweep it and it just stopped. Yeah, which is fine.
I mean, like, we got it. Yep! Whoa! Yep! Whoa!
that's another steal of 1 for Team ROZON, and they're up 3-0 over Team Wallingford. It's been quite the game, and Team ROZON is really fighting for every single point here and putting Wallingford in some tough situations where they're having to really make some shots. Let's take a look at what's happening in the other games. On sheet 1, Team Richard picking up a 4-ender in end number 3, and they now lead 5-1 over Team Han. On sheet 2, it's Team Little with the 2-1 advantage over Team Kimmel. On sheet 3, that is Team Fayez and Team Steep still tied at 1 as well. Tied at 1, Team Steel and Team Ald. Team Hall has bounced back with a 3-ender in end number 4, and they lead Team Liang 3-2. And after 3 blanked ends, it was Team Murphy who picked up a deuce in end 4, and they're now up 2-0 over Team Warner. And on sheet 8, it is Team Wilsey with a steal of 1 in the 4th, and they are leading Team Marshall 4-2.
So Team Wallingford down 3 points here, Danielle. They're going to have to start putting some points on the board. Put the corner guard up.
I definitely expect to see more offense.
Yeah.
Team ROZON has really been putting on the pressure on Team Wallingford throughout the game, and some tougher shots, makeable but tougher. Perhaps not what she had in mind when they were starting off the ends.
Right. That was a bit of a miss there, though, so gives Wallingford a good opportunity to get around the corner guard. Well, they swept it hard to get it by the guard. I think their second shot back there, which isn't terrible.
There's a couple approaches the ROZON team could take here, and they're electing to come around behind, but the other option, the one that I think would be really great at this point being up 3, is perhaps a peel of that corner guard.
Yeah, the peel's the right shot here, I think, Danielle.
Okay, Jill, yep. Yep, hard Jill. Okay, that's fine. Good. Can you get there? Tap it? Even if you tap it here, that's okay.
So come around a few feet deep and a few inches outside.
It wasn't.
Now with that, the the Wallingford team is going to be able to use that rock to their advantage. And you can see they're calling for a tap back. Not necessarily wanting to remove it from play, but just manipulate the angles.
Yeah. That rock is going to help the Wallingford team.
Commented they didn't think they were that heavy on the tap here, but what we've seen with how active the striking bands are is that it doesn't take much to move them. So if you're used to throwing where you need the rock to be tapped plus a little bit, it's actually, you've got to take that plus a little bit out of the equation here.
Yeah.
The weight transfer, there's barely any energy lost in the taps.
That's definitely an unfortunate error there from the ROZON team. She tapped another yellow rock into the rings, left a corner guard, and missed the shot she was going for on the tee line.
So some great angles here set up by the Wallingford team. I would still suggest that they're playing right into, the ROZON team is playing right into that game, and I would suggest they need to either run that corner guard back or get rid of it so they can start moving those rocks in the house.
Yeah.
So if they don't make this shot perfectly, they're in a little bit of trouble.
And this is why we spoke about peeling that corner guard a few shots ago. And look at the trouble it's now getting the ROZON team into.
I'll echo that. No, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about there. That's the danger, the shot if you don't make it perfectly. Really anything but the perfect shot on that one was there. That was a very low percentage shot.
Threw quite a bit of weight on this shot. Did not really need to throw that much weight. Definitely want to stick around and sit three.
And right here, I see a triple lined up. Quite, I would say almost automatic triple. You just hit that yellow rock on the nose on the outside. This, well, you can see the coach calling a timeout.
Oh, was that him? Okay.
But and the players did see the timeout. So
Yeah, I was waiting for that timeout.
I think you need to get rid of some of those yellow ones, and I'm seeing 3 disappear with 1 shot right now. So I know if I were the coach what I'd be saying.
Yeah.
But the coaches do have to access the ice from sheet 1, so it gives the players a few extra minutes to talk about the shots. And as a matter of fact, the coach can even go down to the other end, which even adds an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of teams come back down to this end. But we'll have a listen in to see what the coaches say.
We'd happen to be sitting two. Or just like sit in there somehow. Then what do they do?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, but we have to come at it this way. We come this way, we're not. Unless we hit and roll, like if we come that way.
He might, split those two at the top or draw around that.
Well, I don't know if it is coming that way.
Well, they're obviously not calling it, but he might.
It's looking scary, I know.
Yeah, this is the 5th end. This is where we give up our big end.
We're only like they're only sitting 2, and our red is not really.
It's not perfect though.
Okay, so what do you suggest?
Yeah, I want you to hammer that behind the blue, the yellow one, and try and right. You want to get there. You get your red rock in the same place, but it also.
Get rid of some of it. Yeah,
I'll look at it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the angles. I forget now what they're looking like.
Just play it. Don't worry about the double.
Yeah, the center's completely open.
As long as it doesn't remove our red that's already in there. That's the only thing. Okay.
It's just.
Yeah. No,
This is the time we do it again, right?
Okay.
So really just manage the risks. You've been doing really good at managing the risks so far. So anyway, we'll get them girls.
Good.
Just get her deuce.
Yes. I kind of regret that. We just need the bottle of Advil in it. You can go in there and get it.
It looks really good for yellow right now, but it's not really that good. Like it looks better than it is. It looks better than it is down there. Like it looks really good for yellow. I think it's really good.
So I think the coach has talked these girls into hitting something, which is a very good idea. She could get rid of a couple here, maybe 3.
See, they need that rock to curl up and to curl up closer to nose, or even get that roll in. But at least the positive of this shot is that there's the rocks aren't all grouped in behind that corner guard anymore. Just one.
I mean, I was like, if you smash your nose, we get rid of all 3, but I was. No, like. That, like.
You like this? I think this is the only way to get more bearing right now. Yeah, don't mind it. Just a 10. Sure.
She thinks this is the only way to get this rock buried, but they had played a lot of rocks with the in-turn draw around those guards, and they did bury quite nicely.
I agree, Mary.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they didn't think it would curl.
Yeah. Hits and rolls are definitely no gimmies.
Careful. Yes. Hard. Okay.
So the Wallingford team is staying 3, but now 2 of those rocks are available for a double. They want to talk about where to put the shooter, but you heard it from Brianna, the double is the biggest priority.
Right.
We stay moved, then they play it.
The good news for the ROZON team is that red rock that's sitting back 8 foot, out counting the rest of those yellows, and it is not exposed. So the Wallingford team can't get at that rock, and that's one saving grace for the ROZON team.
Well, they also have to be careful with this shot. If it goes awry, that they don't change that situation.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking if they make this, they might set up a double, but I don't think they will. It will jam.
Yeah, well, that just looks a little scary. Like, we could get the double and do it that way, but we could also, like, really...
Making 2 rocks go away here and getting the Wallingford team just to deuce is quite acceptable at this point.
It is, yeah.
This thing's throwing me off. I thought she was perfect. And suddenly it isn't. It's okay though.
And they rolled over to be exposed about half a rock, so I think they just hitched roll to not allow a double on those 2, like you had mentioned, Mary.
Yeah. There is no double there, eh, Daniel? I think it's... I don't think so.
I think if you threw tons of weight like Kevin Cooey and just skinnied by the guards, that's kind of his specialty. He would make that, but
yeah.
Don't expect to see that call from any of the players out here. Rock is just cruising. Getting those inside out passes quite quick can be tricky.
I didn't look at it. Like, do we try and come here? Or do we do what they did? I mean, if I leave a piece open this way, they've got a catcher all day, right? I think I like this way.
Good comment by the ROZON team. If they came around the other corner and they didn't happen to get buried, that would leave Wallingford with a hit and roll, or even a hit and double onto those 2 red rocks. So I agree with this call.
Yeah, I like this call.
So Grace is pretty confident thinking that it's Team Wallingford's rock, but really it doesn't affect their shot here. They're still going to be making a draw. It's just a question of where now. And
Right.
they just threw this path.
Yeah.
So even though it went through the house, they now have that information and they know what it does. So looking like this might be a shot for 2 for Wallingford. But we may also see a measuring stick come
Yeah.
out.
Just a little light on that, so she's going to just pick up 1 point. I'm assuming they did not do the measure, so.
So that means that Team ROZON is leading 3-1 going into the break, and they will have hammer in the 6th end.
So this is a good time for their coach. He's got 5 minutes to chat with the ROZON team, and you know, we saw in this end that they were up 3 points and weren't playing as defensively as they should be. In other words, hitting their opponent rocks, keeping it clean. So this is a good chance for the coach to maybe have a sit down and say, now you're in full control, you're up 2 and you've got the hammer. Keep it clean and play smart and you will win this game.
That's play smart and keep an eye on the scoreboard. It's all about the scoreboard management.
Exactly.
At this point, so keep in mind where you're at in the game.
Yeah.
And so for this 6th end, I mean, they'll want to go for their deuce, of course, but scoring is a top priority.
Exactly. So we're going to take a 5-minute break here, and we will be back shortly to view this later part of the game.
I have no immature comments to speak of.
Okay, so in all seriousness, I don't have a
Good defense. Lead pass. Stop it! Position about 8 yards from goal. Thoroughly unforgettable performance. Performance. had to make sure your tolerance was the back four rib.
She's just
So that
chewing.
you could
She
actually
says
use
okay.
your opposite hand.
I speak Kaylin.
Like, I didn't mind it.
Okay.
But that was it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, not fighting it.
Oh, we're not even up first. See, I like going first after the 5th pen because I'm just like ready to go, you know?
I'll start my clock.
Okay.
So, let's go out.
I was just saying K.
All right. Pause it.
Yeah.
What?
I know, but like,
Do you want to keep talking? We can keep talking.
We missed you. We missed you. We missed you.
Okay. I missed you guys
we're
too.
set up for 3. After this, then we'll see if how many we
Okay.
Okay.
We were
Sounds
set up
good.
for 3.
Okay. Even if we don't though, like
Whatever.
you gotta go off, you gotta go off. It's like a big
3
wrinkle.
or a 1? Are we doing 2
Okay, don't.
centers?
Okay, then
Just 1?
just don't sweep them.
Okay. So like a tight
Okay,
2.
but like if you're gonna put
Yeah,
it
it'd be a
back,
hair slower.
On like my heating pad, so that
it's freaking me out.
2's good.
You-
It's curling.
you're not too
it's
young
gonna
for
go.
I know.
Honestly.
Okay, off, off. Just a 2.
Fair.
2. Nice shot, Hannah.
What?
So
Oh,
just
'cause
starting
they're
the
knee,
6th
right?
end
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Lindsay.
Wallingford team is down 2
we're
points
sure it
without.
was the rock,
Rosen
right?
has the hammer here going into the 6th end.
I'm just making sure that I didn't throw the last one like. I thought it looked good out of your hand. Line's good. 93. 8. Not behind T. Lots of line right now.
We'll do our best.
Lots of line right now. Let it work. Interesting. Mel, can you finish at all?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Good.
Wow, that really dug in.
Freeze it.
You got what?
Freeze or what?
I got a 93.
Speed's nice here.
What? You done messed up. Really?
Five's
It's
good.
so funny. It's from I think it's for Keith.
Gotta go then. 3. Oh, you got Grace.
So did I.
Whoa.
She was like
whoa.
not behind you. I was like,
Lindsay.
okay.
Whoa. Stop. We're bounced. Great weight, Hannah. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
10 or 11? What do you like better?
What about like 11?
I don't mind 11.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, it just looked light in your hand, like we just thought it was light. It was great weight. 10, 5, 11. Clean it.
Clean it. Just clean it.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard.
You got it.
Hard. Yep.
You got it.
Hard. Keep going. Yep. Hard.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That was a 12. So
Okay.
that's probably why. Can you get that?
So it's not bad how they rearranged the 2 red rocks. They're no longer right in the middle. They're off towards the side of the sheet.
Yeah, I think she's good backward. Yeah. We can hold them.
Those 12. So.
Yeah.
2, but 12.
Back line.
Yeah, that's why I held up your hand,
Back
right?
low. Low. Back low. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. It picks.
They got a little fooled in that spot, Danielle.
They did. We've seen it look like it picks, but it really does snap, especially since that was only about back 8 that they really threw on that one. Back 8, back 12.
Well, okay, yep. 10.
For hitting.
So that is a really nice situation for the ROZON team. They have the hammer. They've got 2 rocks in the rings, soon to be possibly 3. And the only guard out there is a corner guard, which is to their advantage.
I don't think it's picked. Because your weight, if anything, it was a little bit down, which is fine.
Good. 10-5.
Good
10-5. 10-5.
You could hear the Wallingford team still having a debate over whether or not it was a
That's why I
picked
cried
rock
so
or
much.
not.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah, but then I looked at my stopwatch and was like, oh, it makes sense.
Really, it's important to recognize what actually happened with the shot. Was it a pick? Was it just the spot? Because you end up throwing in that same spot again, and as we suspect back here, that's just how this sheet runs.
Yes.
Down weight, it will have some sudden movement.
Right.
So they'd have to be prepared for that.
Whoa. Yep. Good.
And a great result for the Wallingford team. The hit and roll, so their second shot.
Not skipping.
Just nose. 10.
Was that soft, right?
Same thing you
So?
just threw.
Okay.
It'll come up the same way. Better 10.
Whoa. Okay, that's fine. 10-9.
So you talk about tolerance for those type of shots,
that one just
Mary,
didn't
and
come up quite as much.
I got a
they needed
really
to hit it
similar
on the
time.
nose,
It
but
could've
if
been,
not
like, a
even
little off.
Okay.
on the inside, so that they at least would sit 2 in
Didn't
the
quite,
house.
like,
Yeah.
her last that she threw them pretty much the same, but that one just didn't, it might have been a bit wider. Didn't quite come back.
Whoa. Good.
Okay.
Probably could have rolled under. Pardon? Yeah, we were. I know.
How much can you see?
Oh, go.
Even though they're saying 2 here, this is a great chance for the ROZON team to use that corner guard, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Yes, hard. Come on, hit it. Okay.
And that
Fine.
going towards the wings, it gets the movement, and it might have been helped a bit as well. So
Again, that was 12. 11s just need to be 11s.
they were playing a hit on it, but
we're getting a
Mary,
lot
I
of curls,
wouldn't have minded seeing a draw in that situation, whether it was a crease hit or even a come around that corner.
Yeah, that yellow rock. I mean, I understand why they're hitting. They're up 2 points. But that yellow rock's not in a terrible spot for them. They could probably get a little bit aggressive and try to score 2 points in this end.
Yes.
And they still can with the situation out here.
Hannah.
Well, we talked about it off the top before we went to break that they really need to score in this end.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job of keeping it open. The the button is still fully available.
Just tight. Any? I like this. Okay. I said goal. Like a quarter. No, no,
And
no,
here
I said
comes
goal
the
is
freeze.
4. You said 3.
Okay, you like 4 here?
Oh, because well, we wanted a 3, 2, and when you said 4, that's why I said well because 4 is too deep.
They really need to make sure that they get shot out of this rock,
Or you don't need to sweep it, right?
or at least leave it with a good enough angle.
Sorry. No, they were just telling me it was a
T-line!
3, 4, and I'm like, well, sweep it like it's tight, like line's tight, and then they just
T-line!
stopped sweeping it. I'm like, well, you have to go.
Line's really nice. Yep, hard. A 3? Okay.
Okay,
Like,
so
I mean, would have been fine there.
that was unfortunate. That was not hitting tolerance, but the good news is that they
Okay.
left it more in the corner guard position.
It is curling a bit, eh?
Yeah, you're.
But the issue here being is that there's going to be quite a bit of pressure on Brianna's last two shots.
Moving. I don't mind throwing. I mean, calling.
Well, I like 11 though.
Sorry,
Because our 12s have been
like
overthrowing.
Well, I mean, it's because we're
Calling 11.
calling
and
11
yeah.
and we're throwing 12. But if we broom
Oh,
to
like
12.
12's okay
Yeah.
too. I don't know. I think 11 will still get lift it. You guys also waited a long time to sweep
But-
it. Light's okay.
That's fine.
Yes! Early! Yes! 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 Hard! Hard! You gotta go! Hard! 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 Whoa! Lindsay, yep. Great sweep, guys. Nice shot, Em. Good sweep.
I think I tried
I don't know what happened after, like, right out of my
They
hand.
did
It
hit
was
the
like,
back of it.
it like moved closer. Like, I didn't
That was a great sweep by the front end.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
got a wire. Better? Yeah. Nice shot. It looked like right out of my hand. Like, it didn't look like it picked, but it looked like it.
Like, if I can get to nose, nose is perfect.
I don't know. I thought it might have been a little bit.
Just sit on it.
It was a bit tight. It felt like it like almost like hit something. It might have hit something.
Even
but
there,
it
it's
felt
not
like
bad.
maybe like a flat spot. I don't know.
Like, corner's not bad. You want? Oh, you want to run?
yeah.
Okay.
10.
Yeah. Can
It's
you
just
get
nose.
to nose?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Just to have. Well, I guess they would need that, like.
10.
Everybody has hats on us here. She's wearing a hat over a hat.
I think she has no choice but to play this, Danielle.
I agree, Mary. There's no place they can draw in the house that's going to put them in a good situation. Just need to be careful where they leave this shooter.
Right.
Don't want to block off their draw.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Well, that's a
What
great shot.
Beautiful shot. No sweeping required.
Yeah.
And as you heard, their
think
shot
probably
buried
on this way.
completely
I don't
behind
think so.
guard. What a great shot.
They were so nonchalant about that. They just watched it come down, curled, hit exactly where they wanted, made a perfect shot.
980.
You gotta get tight.
Just curled up enough at the end,
Oh,
eh?
I know.
Or shot, right? I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah. Their shot. No. No, we can if we're to the yellow. That doesn't look like enough. Little more.
I would agree with that.
Gotta be really tight
It
to
doesn't
the
look
yellow.
like
You gotta
enough.
get
It's not
almost
quite
to the
enough ice. It will curl. good line, but just a foot or two short. So this will be a draw for 2 for Team ROZON.
This is a big shot here. Scoring 2 points in this end is huge.
Okay, gotta be full 4.
Definitely a pivotal point.
4.
Well, if it was already 6-7, we would have needed to switch. I didn't know it was like. Yeah, it's really annoying. Felt like that was enough. Like it felt like more than my last one.
7.
Yeah, but usually that'll run nicer.
Sweepers are liking the weight right out of their hand.
7. Yes.
I even did more than I did on that one.
Hard! You got it! Hard! Okay. You don't got it. Sorry.
Not a few feet less. Not quite enough gas, but I like the optimism in that line call.
Okay.
That's a single point for Team ROZON, so that's a 4-1 after 6, and it will be Team Wallingford with the hammer going into end number 7. Taking a look at the other sheets on the ice tonight, Team Richard picked up a deuce in end number 5, and they have a 7-2 lead over Team Han. Team Little is leading Team Kimmel 4-2 after 5 ends of play. Team Fayez with a steal 1 in the 5th end is leading Team Steep 3-1. Team Ald is up 3-2 over Team Steel after 6. Team Hall with a steal of 1 over Team Leung in the 5th, and they're leading 4-2. Team Murphy up 2-1 over Team Warner. And on sheet 8, it is Wilsey with the advantage, 5-3 over Team Marshall.
Right. And then there were 3.
I don't know, like you want.
Only if you can.
So Danielle, I just got word from the ROZON coach that one of the players has to leave the ice due to a sore back. I'm not sure which player it is.
I'll do it.
It's the second.
And in this case, if a team doesn't have a 5th player, then they have to play with 3, and this is the case for the ROZON team. So what that means is you'll see the lead and the second both throw 3 rocks, and the skip throw 2.
I've never seen her walk out of a game before. I know. Who? No. 3. You got it. Hair less, like 4-10. Nice shot. 420. Good. 2, 3. Let it work a little. Let it work. Easy, Wolf. I think it's good.
The team's not missing a beat out here, though. They're put up a great guard on the rock on the top of the house.
They did. It's a perfect shot.
So the Wallingford team will play the come around here, and we hope that the ROZON team learned from the 3rd end and is going to play a peel on these guards. Or was that the 5th? That was the 5th end.
Right. Yeah.
4. Hard, girls, come on. All you got. Keep going, keep it going, Lindsay. Hard, you got it buried. Keep going, all you got. Good sleep.
Great come around there.
Just so you know, Caitlin left. She hurt her back. So we only have 3 now. That's why Jill 3 if you were confused.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
10?
What? How much do you have? What? How much do you have?
Yeah, okay.
So this is a shot, Danielle, where they can go for the one in the house, but of course the tolerance is to hit one or the other. Don't be wide and flash everything. Either you hit the one in the house or you peel the guard off.
Absolutely. Well, this is a unique position now because it's the lead now throwing some of the hits, and it's not to say that they don't have that ability, but it's just not a
That's fine.
just not a shot that they've thrown frequently.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Just really, she was washed. She slid till on like the
It's like, whoa. It's like,
okay.
that was good.
It's all good.
And in those kind of cases, that's the time when you really want to have that talk about tolerances like you just had here, Mary. Sometimes it's just assumed, but really it's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
That the skip needs to communicate that down to their players, or the players need to have a clear idea and ask if they don't.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, the ROZON skip is just still a little bit inexperienced and wouldn't even think to, actually maybe not even think to know that that is the tolerance. She's thinking just hit this rock in the house. She's not even thinking about, other options, maybe being the guard. And in that case, sometimes you will ice the player tight so that they will hit one or the other.
Right? Whoa, no. Wow, that was terrible.
Yeah, we're just peeling it.
Sorry, Bree,
That's fine.
I got it.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay.
They might be a little shaken up with losing their player. Sometimes that really changes the dynamics for sure.
Yeah, well, it's
You
okay.
can even get into your head that if you only have one sweeper,
I'm like, at least
it
get through the
changes
hole.
how you
I'd rather
might
you go
throw
through
the
the hole.
shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
I
It
mean,
wasn't the worst.
especially now with our knowledge of,
It's all good.
I won't call it directional sweeping because that's not what it is out here, but our knowledge of how to use the stroke, the sweeping stroke properly with the downstroke. You can do so much more with one sweeper.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's good. I might have touched this one a bit, but just like not when it was going by. Just after like I rubbed my heel.
It was by.
Sorry,
I'm
that was a
sure. I think it's
terrible
okay.
throw.
Yeah.
You hit like that was garbage on that. I know.
The rock's all grouped in behind. It could hit this one. It looks like it's almost an automatic jam. Hard to tell the depth of how far apart the rocks are, but again, need to make sure at least some yellow is going out.
Okay. Nice shot. Huh? Yeah, we did.
Close.
Okay.
Yep. Hard.
Whoa!
Whoa. Okay, good. It was jamming all day, but I figured get rid of one.
Yep. Tolerance is light here. Yep. Pretty quick in this pass. A little better. That was a little better.
Stay close.
It does jam me all day.
Oh, okay. Then I'm less worried.
Just a 4-5. Switch. Just a 4-5, guys. Hands
Finish.
up only.
You need to finish.
Hard, Hannah, yes. Yes. Hard.
Great throw. It's good. Great. Good sweeping, guys.
Great throw right in behind the guard.
Can't see much
Try
of
and
it.
clear 2 of them.
I thought we were going to be wide open, but you really finished it. So. Yeah, at least the guard goes.
Yeah, no,
right?
I know.
So, just talking. Knowing
Run
me.
here, she's given quite a bit of ice for a run, so I suspect we might just even see a straight peel here.
Yeah.
So you either need to hit the run perfectly, or you need to make sure that your shooter gets out of the way.
Yes! Hard! Hard to peel it. Yeah, hard. Okay.
It's a single peel, and that's fine.
That
Forces
tight?
Wallingford to make
Yeah.
perfect
Really?
guard
Yeah.
on these two rocks in the house.
Yep.
That was ugly. Good sweep though.
Let's make sure I'm right out.
I like the fact that Wallingford is continuing to guard these two rocks because they are very.
Yeah, that was 3.
Damn.
It's very easy. It's a very makeable double for the opposition, the ROZON team. So I think you just guard it up here for a few more shots.
Little soft, little soft. Wasn't
Higher the better. You might have to finish. Hannah. You really gotta go. Lift help hard.
They're really going to have to go to finish this rock.
Good. Great throw. Great spot, guys.
Great spot for a guard.
Try it again. That first one's really tough.
That-
Wait, the first one peel?
I think try and get
That
rid
run
of
is
2
still
if
here.
we can.
Really
You
finish
want to
the
try
finish.
that?
I think so.
What happened?
Did
Is
you
one of
it?
the players sick or something?
She hurt her back.
Because we can play just to like get rid of that and that. Or,
Yeah.
yeah?
Like this way.
And go out that way?
At this point, they really need to make sure that that this run back happens and they get some movement on the rocks, at least in separation, so that the Wallingford team can't guard them both.
Yeah.
I think we try and get rid of 2 anyways. Might have to freeze that way next
Yeah. If
time.
she can get rid of the guard and one of them in the house,
Yeah. Like
that's
a-
the best
like a
she can
double
do.
dare all day with the
giving
guard
up a
gone.
2-point here is fine.
I think we're trying just a hair inside.
3's
one.
not so great.
No, I'm okay. Stuff them in the pan.
Not at all. So they really need to play all out for on these shots.
Oh, I didn't realize how comfortable it was until I took them off. Oh my god.
No.
Just peel it.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yep, sorry.
Just so hard to make those run backs, Danielle, in those spots. Just, it doesn't move at all. You know, you almost need to take slightly negative ice, especially when a lot of these players, you know, they kind of pop it at the end. It's not going to move at all.
Exactly. I think they got fooled a bit by Melanie's release on her last rock and how it overcurled, but I think that was more of a bit turn in, and
Yeah.
it was her in turn
Yeah.
as a left-handed player.
Right, that's true.
So you just got to be confident knowing what happened with the other player's throw, and if there was a turn, and just ignoring that throw and calling the right ice.
Yeah.
Even one sweeper can hold it on this ice with a solid amount of weight.
Hannah's rock.
So they're going to play another corner guard here.
Hard, Hannah.
Yeah, because whoever gets the ice first wins.
Hard, Hannah, yep. Yep, all you got. Yep. Hard, Hannah, yep. Okay, that's good. Good sweep, guys. Good. Yeah. You can't see it because the
we
angle's
have
in
to.
the back. You can't. Good. Okay.
Okay.
You know, Danielle, I think
right?
at this point I would have split the rings here and sat 3. That was Wallingford's first shot. So she's basically saying, I'm good with 2, but she could actually even give up a steal by putting that guard there, because they're going to come around this now.
That's true. They've got to at least sit second here. But very makeable. We've seen some good movement in this spot.
Yeah. That rock is like so much nicer than the other one. Does Lindsay throw draws with it? No, she threw 2 hits. She threw her board weight hit in this
Lots of room, I think.
Just a 5. Okay, there.
You can see Brianna getting up to sweep her own rock.
No, whoa. Stop.
That's more of a mixed doubles move, Mary.
It is.
Well, I think
Nice shot.
and I figured once we were that
She got a good solid half buried.
Mm-hmm.
They are shot, but this gives the Wallingford team a shot at
That was
3.
a little too much ice, but I was like, ugh.
it's hard.
Yeah.
We almost got behind.
Yeah, but I think you guys can hold it here because you always seem to be in a finish.
Yeah. Something to look at.
Yeah.
Like, she probably has half of it, but
Yeah.
maybe more actually. Except for try.
Yeah.
That was a little casual on the sweeping call, but in the end they picked it up in time.
I got it.
So we are all tied up in our feature sheet. It is 4-all. Team ROZON and only 3 players
Yeah.
now.
All right.
With their second going out with a back injury. They will have the hammer in end number 8.
Okay, keeping it clean. For sure.
So taking a look at the other sheets on the ice, we have our first final. That's Team Richard with a 7-3 win over Team Han. It was after 6 ends.
It's tough. Like once
Team
you get
Little
too behind there, we just can't,
maintaining their lead over Team Kimmel. They have a 4-2 lead. Team Fayez, after blank and 6, still has a 3-1 lead over Team Steep. Team Ald leads Team Steel 4-2. Team Leung got a deuce back in 6, but a Hull used a single in 7, and they lead 5-4. Team Warner with a steal in 6 has tied it up against Team Murphy 2-all. On sheet 8, Team Wilsley is holding on to their lead, but Marshall's looking for a comeback with a steal in 7th. But it is Team Wilsley leading 5-4.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, Jill. I didn't know if you were coming or not. I was just like,
A little bit of a miscommunication whether or not their lead was going to join.
trying.
She almost hip checked her out of the way.
I mean, it's a good idea to get them to have the thrower come up and join the sweeping, but you also want to make sure that as a thrower that doesn't affect your throw either.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, if any of these players have tried out mixed doubles, then they should be more comfortable with the throw your rock, get up and sweep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so that one picked. That definitely was a pick.
Huh? Yeah, I'll get it. Is it a big hair? It's a white hair, so I don't even know what that's from.
Oh, no!
It's like 10.
Okay, that's fine.
hit and roll out, but in the end, they're set up well with a corner guard. So, well, for the next few seconds, but you can see the coach is calling a timeout. And the timeout is called from the ice.
So the Wallingford team calls a timeout here.
Yeah, or hit and roll in. I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
Probably. Like try to steal.
All right.
I only thought it was like that is really tight.
Their coach, Danielle, is Doug Kreviazik,
Coming to
which
get
is a very well-known name in the curling world. Just showed a really nice thing on TSN about his 3 daughters that all play at a very high level.
Really? Is Sean here?
Yeah, he's coming for the timeout.
Oh.
Like,
Obviously.
yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, well,
She told me.
I told her after Jill was about to
I
throw
guess
her
like
third
I
one.
could have
Yeah.
said something to you
Is
guys.
she okay?
Yeah,
She,
I don't
like,
know what
hurt her
she
back.
did,
I
but
think
she
she,
was just
like,
like, ah, at one point, and we were like, uh-oh.
Okay, I think she like pulled a muscle and just like bend over in pain.
That was a good shot last time. I just need to
Yeah.
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 Okay.
don't dick around with the sweeping.
Okay,
Like,
sure.
I know you're
I
trying to
know.
directional, but you're not. You basically
Just do
stop
whatever.
sweeping. And you're doing it.
We're trying to steal. I didn't know if you were
And then
coming
we're
or not.
gonna
Like,
and then we're gonna burn a rock, and it's
Yeah. And I just.
okay.
Like aggressively?
Okay.
No.
No.
Well, because I said
no.
one is okay and
I just want to ask you a question on that. I know it kicked. Why didn't we try to get it across?
because it looked like it was going to be a corner guard, and then all of a sudden it started spinning back, and a corner guard doesn't help us.
Good. She said she just needed to like lie down.
Okay, we didn't think it was that important to steal this
Okay.
end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now we
I
know.
think we're gonna play it a little more simple just because we only have one sweeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably this way.
Oh, I need a water. I'm gonna run and go grab one. I'm just getting a water. I'm.
I'm chilly now. We're sleeping less now.
Line good.
It looks like the team, instead of the hit and roll, their
Still running,
coach Doug
still
has
running.
convinced them to play a center line guard. So this is a more aggressive approach.
Wait.
This is basically saying that they want to go for the steal this end.
Right.
Yeah. No. Good, Lynn. Let's get blessed.
I don't mind this.
A 2 is good. What did she say? Just needs black? We just need less ice.
No, just less ice, and I mean that once you get into the 8
Line
foot,
good.
sometimes it will just stick out there. So this ended up more of a corner guard, and the ROZON team
Line's
here
good. Yep.
has a chance, good chance if they can sink one here
Room. Wait, Ollie.
to
Gotta
really
go.
get set up well this end.
Switch. Yep. Hard. Really nice, Jill. I was about to say really nice Kay because she's not sweeping.
I personally like the run.
Good throwing, good sleeping. Good
There's nothing more humbling, Mary, sometimes than having to get up, run after your rock, and try to call it its own weight, and then really understand what's happening, especially if you didn't quite throw it right.
I know. I used to kind of laugh at people that would throw the rock, especially like in club play. They'd throw the rock and then they'd jump up and they'd run and sweep it with the other 2 sweepers. So there'd be 3 of them on it.
You gotta drag it out. Hannah. Oh, you got it. Yep, you got it. Yep, hard. Oh, you got it. Atta girl, Lynn.
Ugh.
That's scary.
Yeah, I got a 406. Yours?
nice run back. Still have some guards to work with, though.
Why? No. Yeah, you dragged it out because we needed to, but I knew that we needed less ice on your out turn.
Line's a little tight. Jill, go early up. Hard. Help her.
Oh.
Hard. Help. Hard, hard, hard. Hard line, hard, hard, hard.
Great line on shot by Melanie, but fortunately need 5 more feet on that.
Okay. What was that? 09? Yeah. Pace got here like pretty quick, you think? Tolerance is light here though. Line good. Tons of room. Can you switch? Can you switch? Switch if you can. Hard, Lindsay. You gotta go. Hard, Hannah, yep. Hard. Yes, keep going, keep going. Hard, yes, yes. Good.
See a piece of that rock. Though I like that the initial call, no hesitation, that Brianna just walked up and called the double peel. And that was the downside of Melanie's last shot, where it ended up overlapped, and that's not going to be helpful. So great opportunity to double peel both rocks out by the center.
Good. I think tight guard. Okay.
Shot. You'll notice though that the yellow rock also hung on over on the side 12 foot here, so that changes the face of the end. When you only have one rock in play, there's always a chance for a blank, but now that there are 2 rocks in the house, it could look more like a force at this point.
I'm a little tight, okay? 2, 3, doesn't need to be too tight. Okay. Over and up. Sit in. Sit down. Good. Shoot. 16-3. It's so like
Good curl on this, and this
Like that.
she could play the hidden roll, but I would say the better shot at this
Like, we
point
can
would be
play
the run,
that.
Mary.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, Danielle.
No.
It might.
Not really. Okay. No. Tight. I guess
The
it's
thing
just
is,
like
I only have like half of this.
But no. Oh, like, I guess it just ran pretty true.
What?
They didn't switch that at all, so they
I
didn't.
don't know if we can stick around if we hit that though.
I only have half.
Look at my first one. It was kind of
And they just go around again.
Where's it from? Just like stepping. Because when I stop,
I'd rather get rid of it.
About 2.5 ends left to play. Both teams are covering around the 11.5-minute mark, so they're right on schedule.
Like it looks good like that. I don't know why.
And they make it better.
Okay.
That's all I'm thinking.
Do you want to try this? The only thing I'm thinking is this spills in.
Yeah.
But if it spills in over here, not in the middle. If you throw a lot of weight, hopefully it goes all the way out.
Throw what I just threw.
Yeah. I like that. I think we have to.
I feel like if I make this goes over top. I don't think we'll hit
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
My feet are getting sore.
Melanie really has a good grasp on the angles.
Yeah,
the vice.
she does.
She's exactly right. If they make that run, it is going over top the yellow one. If they hit it anywhere thinner, yes, it will be going into that corner yellow.
I also like the fact that she came down to the other end to talk to her skip. I find when you're yelling back and forth, it doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Just come down and talk to the skip. Get on the same page.
Especially in a club like this, we've got 8 sheets out here. They're high ceilings, concrete walls. It's really loud out there.
Yeah.
I think they're trying like the double peel double. Oh, wow. Yeah. Hard! Okay, yeah. No, you gotta just. Yep. Okay, that's fine. Like tapping it or like a guard? I think we have to tap it now and just make a double just go around here. Okay. Which way? Caught on my finger. Mine did curl my guard, but they didn't sweep it too much, so. That's not too bad. It's fine, yeah. It caught on my thumb as I threw it. Yeah. It's a little tighter than your last one.
It's not exactly what they were going for with that rock, but the fact that they exposed it is important. And now
I think that was
Wallingford is playing the tap, but this should allow for a double.
Yes.
There's only 3 of us.
I know.
You're out of luck.
Kaylin, damn it. And I think if anything, we want to hit it low, right?
Yeah.
No, but we don't want to leave the deeper one for the roll. That's what I mean. Yeah, but maybe we want to hit it low.
As we spoke about here, Mary, the striking bands are so active on these rocks that really they only need to throw enough weight to where they want to tap the rock.
Right. So really, just T-line weight will tap this rock to a perfect spot. Don't want to overthrow it.
Whoa! Line's pretty good. Just let it work. Let it work. Really good. No, just leave it. Okay, yep. All right, that's good.
See just how much that rock glides.
Yeah, that really moved.
I think so.
They tapped it behind the corner guards, but it is behind
Yeah, they just
the
threw
tee.
the top, right? So I think higher's probably better.
Yeah,
Higher shot, yeah.
Slowing down, so.
That was my worry with the tap. The taps are so precise, and you wanted to hit it straight on the nose and straight back to the button. Since she pushed it behind that corner guard, it's actually gives ROZON a chance here to come behind her corner guards.
Skipper's deuce?
Exactly. This could be a skipper's deuce
But I had a good ad. Okay, top
if she can make this one.
4 still? Yeah, we can be right to it if we need it for line, but we'd rather be like in front, yeah. Okay, 4.
I know, it's annoying. So annoying. It's like, is it annoying if it's under my shirt or over my shirt? It's both. Five, 6. What?
That's a pretty good opportunity.
Okay, whoa.
Wait only.
Whoa. It's really got to move.
It's got to move, but it's got to get in there for shot rock.
Okay.
The line's looking pretty good from this angle.
Yep. Go, Bree. Go. Really nice.
And a great shot. They caught a piece of the 4-foot. And as you can see, it's mostly buried. Brianne is quite convinced that this mixed doubles is going to work out for her. What, Brianna? I agree. You've been getting up and sweeping the rocks really nicely.
Yes.
Just back 4, back 8. I can see a piece of it, right? Yeah, you can. I have half. I only need to hit half, yeah. If we come up closer to nose and we just bump it a bit, we should be shot still. Back 4, back 8. That looks okay.
So a piece isn't exposed here. They're just playing
Use
that
the
back
hair
4,
more.
back 8.
Yeah.
And I was just about to say it looked like tight ice, but she ended up changing it and giving slightly
Just a
more
little
ice.
less weight, right? Okay.
Again,
She got that started.
Hard! 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 Keep going! Hard!
there?
light, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
It
Okay.
wasn't that light.
Yeah, you got it.
I don't know if I just straight tight, but I did not.
So it's a draw through the port for Team ROZON. They need a piece of the forefoot to pick up a deuce. They're currently saying 1.
Yeah, but I gave a good attempt.
And they had 2
Like,
options.
it-
They
we-
could
gotta
come
do the
through this
whole
port, or they
Yeah.
could also play the wide in turn.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That curled right out of my
They've
hair.
got a generous amount of room
I gave
here,
lots of
Mary.
ice here,
I suspect they're not wanting to come anywhere near that
So I'd
center
rather
line
It
guard.
seemed a little bit light for like if we wanted to throw like back 8, back 4. It wasn't
Yeah.
there, but I was just thinking heavy was not very good, and even if we tap it an inch on the inside, like we're gonna get shot. I think it was enough to
Whoa.
get shot if we got
No.
caught.
Pretty solid.
No.
Yeah, tap your own out and roll out.
Okay, yep. Okay, whoa, then.
I'll go.
Whoa, leave it, leave it, leave it.
Whew, that was a lot. Sorry.
Nice shot.
That was creative. Made the rub,
Yeah.
but they made it for 2. So that is a deuce for Team ROZON in end number 8. So they now lead 6-4 over Team Wallingford. That's they are. You've noticed, you've been watching our broadcast, or if you're just joining us, they're playing with 3 players right now. Their second had to leave the game with a back injury.
Whenever we come back there, do we think we need
But they
more?
seem to be
Like, about, like,
managing
what size?
just fine this end. They're getting more
Yeah.
into the swing of things.
Yes.
If we take a look at the other games going on tonight,
That side.
of course, had our first final of the night, Team Richard beating Team Han. We have Team Little with a 4-3 lead over Team Kimmel. It's all tied up over on sheet 3 with Team Fias and Team Steep. They are playing in
How's weight? It's really over curling.
the 8th end.
I think over off.
Team Ald
Maybe
is
leave it.
beating Team Steel 5-2 after a single steal in end number 8. It's Team Leung
must
with
have
a
been,
deuce
'cause
in
it looked
8
pretty,
with a
great, but
6-5
really
advantage over Team
I like
Hull.
the guard just because we want them to we want to force, right? Yeah.
Team Murphy popped a 3-under in the 7th, and they lead 5-2 over Team Warner. And Team Wilsey with
I
a
wasn't sure, so I was
6-4
like, may as
lead
well.
over Team
We'll
Marshall.
play it like safe though, for sure.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a 1, 2. Keep going, then. Okay, whoa. 2. Good. No. Good.
Okay.
These look
3
like
again?
the old Professor used to league.
Okay.
Like you never
Like
use
6?
this.
Okay.
Line's good.
8.
It's good.
7.
Lots of line. Starting to go now.
We're
Where
like
is it?
8, 9.
Jill, I think.
what we got?
Jill, go. Yep.
She made a nice draw.
Hard. Yep. Hard.
Okay, Jill.
Okay.
Not bad, Jill.
That one was definitely a more true path.
No, I like to hit
It was better,
like this.
like it moved better than her last one. Yeah.
Okay. She probably knows.
She said that moved better, so. It's so weird to count.
Whoa. 10. Yep. Whoa. 10-5. Whoa. 10-5. Yep. Hard. Hard. You got it, Grace. You got it. You got it. You got it. Whoa. Okay. Whoa.
shoot. She was a little bit down on that.
So Team ROZON is looking to force Team Wallingford to single, so that's where the center line guard comes into play.
Whoa, 10-5. Whoa. Okay, fine.
Huh?
Was 9.
Pardon? That was 9?
I got a 9. I don't know if I.
Again, we mentioned this
does
again.
that seem right to you?
They're great players out on the ice
Then
who
maybe
can
not.
really make any shot.
But I can run.
But Jill, who's the lead, is now having to step
It's really
into
wide
the
there.
second role
Yeah.
for one of her
I
shots.
wasn't sure
and
if we should sweep it.
is playing
and
some
just peel the
hits, and that's not
guard.
something
No.
that they've
Yeah.
necessarily
But
been
I
practicing, and
think
not
you
necessarily
waited.
a shot
What?
she's
Yeah,
really
you waited.
thrown much of out here on this ice surface as a lead. So you're probably seeing some more uncharacteristic
Stay with
misses
your hand on. Don't
just
be back there.
as a
Like,
result.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that might have put her out of her comfort zone a bit when the second had to leave the game.
If you can.
I mean, she's filling it nicely, even if she's not making the perfect hit. She's still
Keep
getting a
going, keep
piece of the
going, that's
rock.
all you got. Yeah, just let me know if it's the one. I'll probably tighten it up a bit. Just let me know that rock. If it's that rock, we'll do the last ice. 10? No. Or 11. Oh, sorry.
Up to you. It's pretty deep, so 10's fine.
10?
Oh, my legs are like cramping.
That's okay.
Yeah. Hard. Hard, Jill, hard.
Okay, whoa. Holy crap. 9-5.
It's a little bit of help there with the inside release, but they were able to manage that effectively with the sweeping.
Full back 8.
Yeah,
So that shows you this kind of ice. You can have a little bit of an inward release and still save the shot, whereas you have an outward release, not the same.
really good.
And that's only with one sweeper.
Like to go, Ben. Yeah.
That's true.
Hard line.
They were really hoping for a roll towards the center, because now, as you see, the play is all drawn out towards the side, which suits Team Wallingford just fine.
Yeah.
Are you to it? We gotta get home, Hannah. Good throw, Lynn. Still, you have to make it.
Yep.
Still good.
Sit on it.
Team ROZON is sort of being drawn into the trap
Like a
of
forward here?
freezing to the outside.
Yeah, it's actually.
They have a couple options. They could play a hit on this, even a double on their one in the back, roll towards the center.
Nice shot, Lynn.
But they need to make this freeze
7.
perfect.
No, then. It's hot.
Okay, let it work.
No, it's really hot. It's.
Yeah, it's gotta curl. Okay, that's fine, Mel.
And it curled up just enough. It's Team ROZON's thing too.
Pardon?
But
You wanna make the double or the roll? Whatever. I kinda like this and tolerance is no. Okay.
Sorry. I kicked out really hard and I was like,
Well, wait, 10? Sure?
Yeah, it curls just enough, I think. It's just there's an easy double there. That sucks.
I agree with the call for a double here. If they can sit 2 in the rings, that's huge.
Clean, yep. Whoa. Close. Yeah. Hard. Throw.
I suppose I actually missed the shot call. They were going for the roll,
Yeah.
but a great result here still. But if they could have really sat two, made that double, sat two in the house, it would have been a stronger position, because where they ended up rolling to is just on tee, and as you can see, the ROZON team can freeze right to it and easily be shot.
We overrolled a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah. On the other side, which they're never going to play, but I'm just saying. Line's good. Line's good. Close. Yep. Wait only. Wait only. Wait only. Whoa. Whoa. 6, 7, 8, 8.
Dawn. Under 5. No. Under 5 minutes.
Okay. Wide open. I can see it.
Rock just didn't seem
there.
to pick up the same
You can
curl
get
that
it
their
on, right?
previous rock did.
Yep. Do you think with a 10 you can? Yep.
It's quick there.
Yeah. Jill can
So I
sweep
think
them
now,
without
Danielle, the
failing.
double should be the call here.
She is a very capable sleeper.
Yep, it's all open plus some. So it's quite makeable with a nose hit.
I think we've played beside Wilsey every single game.
What?
I think we've played beside Wilsey like every single game.
Yeah, because they follow us. Because they're like the 4 to our deep.
Ooh, that really curled.
Think we do that?
Yeah.
Even if we're here.
It's a huge break for the
That's not the
ROZON
worst.
team.
Right?
That grabbed, eh?
Yeah. I'd rather be a little tighter.
I think I'd rather tuck a piece
They
here.
thought it grabbed, but
Just
to be
kinda
quite
like,
honest, Mary, it's a spot that we've
close.
seen curl.
Yeah.
And especially if you happen to have any inside motion, it will move more.
Yes,
that, like,
definitely.
If we go here, then if they ever get
They
in
seem to be
here-
equating
That's pretty hard.
a snap curl to a pick
Wait, do you have
Right.
in
edge?
this game.
Outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's what
really,
I was
if
trying to say, and I couldn't get
I
it
said it
out.
earlier, you're going to need to figure out which is a pick and which is
Okay.
just an
So we're
operator
saying just
error.
Right, exactly.
Quarter frozen to their yellow. Or like even a little light and like out so we're guarding ours is okay. 4. What was Mel throwing? Like 90s? Okay. Because tolerance I think is light. Okay. Okay. So we're chance for 2.
We talked about tolerance being light, but they weren't overly specific with this. And I think they need to have a discussion more on more
5,
specific
Jen.
tolerances.
Yeah, line.
Right, like light meaning where?
Yeah,
Wait,
are we
line's
light?
fine, line's
Are we
fine.
light? Are we light tight? Are we light top 12?
Right.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
If you can get to nose, sorry. It's actually a little bit high.
They're being caught
It
in
looks
that
like it
path
does,
that
but it-
they're throwing up weight and they're not getting that
but not
finish.
as hard as it looks like
Yeah,
it's
but I think we
doing.
worry about our shooter first. I don't think we worry about this. I think we still try to get it. I just want to be good.
What? Yeah.
So I think it's hard for us to see, but red's sitting 1 and 2, yellow's sitting third shot, Danielle. And then red maybe fourth
There?
at the back.
I think you're right, Mary.
So I think they'll try to play the double on these two.
Might even, it looked
Okay.
like from the other
Do a little bit more
camera
room
angle
this
from
time,
behind
but
that, there
I
might
don't know
even
if it's
have been
bottom
a
like we did.
chance to even touch that
But it
third
was
red in
one.
the back.
Yeah.
All of it. It was really all of a sudden. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jill looks so lonely over there.
I know. Said the same thing. She's like, "Daddy, over
Yes! Whoa!
It's a little lonely over here."
Clean! No! No! No roll-ins. All right. No. We just try and do that again?
I think we did the same thing.
I just threw a 9. She hits this, how many does she get? 3.
Yeah.
Sorry to stop there. That's all right. I thought you were sliding really tight and then you just set it.
This is a big pressure draw for Brianna. You'd heard them if she.
Or what if we just come around the middle?
And just go here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that actually.
I like that.
She stopped me in my
Kinda
tracks
forgot
there
about
on
it,
my
sorry.
words. When-
Yeah, so if we go
yeah,
there.
but either way, it's a
Yeah.
pressure draw because if they if they
Do
do
you know how to curls here?
if this rock
Like that
doesn't make it into the
It runs
house
nice though, this
Yeah.
way, yeah?
that and
Okay,
isn't
good
blocking
talk.
the other red rock,
Yeah.
it's a shot for 3, maybe even 4.
And she just kept sliding away. She goes, okay, good talk.
I like just coming around the middle.
So I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't mind either of these ones. I'd be tempted to throw the exact same rock because you know the path for
Right.
sweeping wise, but I
Yeah.
do like the call around here. This
Okay.
gives them if they can
So,
sink
like,
this
my
one
slider's
perfectly on
okay,
the
just
top
a
4, it
little
gives them a
less
good chance to
extension?
steal at least
Do you
one.
like this ice? Maybe a hair less. Hair less!
I like her confidence though.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. Just needs to get one in there. Even top 8, biting 4
Yeah,
foot.
Jill, go.
Line's tight, yeah.
We're tight.
Line's good.
We're okay, we're okay, we're okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice weight, Bree.
Oh, great weight. So they had to jump that the first. I agreed with them. It looked like it was going to be tight. Managed to just keep it out there with the sweeping.
Turned out to be a perfect shot.
What?
Back to work. Yeah. Should move. A little.
She's trying to do.
So Team Wallingford facing 2 opposition stones. Back 4 weight tap
You know?
to be held to a single.
Unless she's trying to hit it really thin
No,
and
you have to
bounce
tap
for
there
2.
for a little bit.
That's probably what she's trying to do, actually. Hit ours really thin and up that way. She's trying to,
Just back to work.
like, just graze ours. But you have to hit, well, you have to hit ours with enough to get it out. Let's see.
How much? Whoa! No backing! No! Just draw? Whoa, just cold right now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice shot.
Really nice.
Okay, good force.
Good force indeed, but that's a single point for Team Wallingford. So, and it's Team ROZON in the lead, 6-5 lead over Team Wallingford, and it will be Team ROZON with the hammer
Higher
in
time.
N10.
You're saying why weren't you sweeping?
She threw the pin. Like,
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought she was playing some licky thing.
No, I was wondering.
Take a look at the
that's what
scores across the ice.
She had such little ice.
I think
On sheet 2, Team Little
yeah, I think
blank the 8th end,
Yeah,
and
I
they
don't know,
maintain
it was
their
weird. So I was trying
4-3
to figure out
lead.
what she was doing. Anyway,
no, I know.
Team
I
Fires
said
with
like
the
that,
single
and
in end 8 is up 4 to 3 over
Keep it
Team
open,
Steep.
Make sure I have a shot for one. Yeah, do it.
Team Steel is clawing their way back into the game against Team Ald, picking up a deuce in N9. It is Team Ald up
Alright,
1, 5-4, going into the 10th end with the hammer.
You're over!
Team Hall and Team Leung are tied up after 9, so it will be Team Leung with the hammer in N10. Team Murphy leading 5-3 over Team Warner, and Team Wilsey up 6-5 over Team Marshall, and that's Team Wilsey with the hammer in 10.
Because I kicked out with the tongue. And that was a little wide.
Okay, well, it's not spinning, but
85.
Line in! Jill, yep, Jill! Where's weight? Yes! Oh!
try to pick.
I don't, like it looked like it almost grabbed, like something.
I'll keep her broom down.
Did
Sorry,
you happen to see that, Mary?
No,
Whether or
I
not
didn't see
grabbed?
it.
We had some movement in front of us, but it looked like they had pretty good weight on it, and they thought it might have grabbed.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was just up. I didn't think it was gonna curl like that.
Ditto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I do.
Long day.
You go, you go, you go.
You can go. 3. Yes. Hard line. Hard. Hard. Keep going. Get separation. Get separation. Keep going. Hard, Lindsay. That's okay.
It did look light out of her hand, I thought.
Yep. So our lead, Jillian Page, throwing one of the second
Yep, right up,
stones.
yep.
Throwing a peel.
Throwing a peel. A double peel even they were looking at possibly, but
Go, Bree, go, go.
didn't go out, but got the job done.
It did.
Probably going in.
That really curled too. It was
I
a
like
good throw.
it, personally.
Sorry, I wasn't
I
gonna
am
get
impressed
there, so I
with
just left
the
it for you.
ROZON team and how they've dealt with having 3 players for both the second half of this game. They did have, it was starting the 7th end that their player had to leave the ice at the beginning of the 7th, and they did give up that 3-ender, so it was a rough go at the beginning, but they really picked it up through ends 8 and 9.
Line dead. You can go.
Yeah, they've settled right into it.
3.
After that
You gotta
3-ender
go.
they gave up in the 7th.
You gotta get around it. Hard. 5. As much as you can. Hard. All you got now, Grace. All you got. Keep going. Hard. Great throw, Lynn. Yep. You got it. I don't either.
Draw around, look for a double peel. I mean, the angles are even lined up for a triple if you hit it right, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. A single peel here is just fine as well.
Yeah.
9.
Yep.
Whoa. Jesus.
Yep.
I know. I honestly thought it was really light.
Because we said it was slowing down, and it did not.
It's okay.
Well, did we call that one? Did you call that one, Danielle?
Beautiful shot.
Sounded like a neat lead making a triple there.
Nothing like lead making a triple
That
is
felt good.
right.
Funny.
You know, that's probably the game saver shot right there.
Way to go. That was like the softest thing.
It is.
That's my lead.
Now to bring it back to a serious note, they're going to have to refocus after that wonderful shot.
Exactly. And make all the simple shots, the simple peels.
Yeah. Well, we saw it earlier today. A player out on the ice made a beautiful,
I almost tripped and
beautiful
died.
double, and then ended up flashing their next shot,
Yeah.
which was just an open hit. But again, it's that focus. So it'd be Melanie stepping into the hack.
That was a really soft weight. I don't know how they made that. Okay. Everything is cramping.
Clean.
No.
Clean, clean.
Good.
And refocus they did. Great, great peel.
Nothing like making a fucking triple in the last end, right?
Is it really slow here?
You know, like I saw that there, but I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, Jill, call and play the triple. You'd be like, what? Yeah, really nice. Good job.
Should be there. It should be
Little
there.
early.
So ROZON's going to just keep peeling these centerline guards.
Yeah.
All she wants is to have an open shot for the win here. She's up one with the hammer.
Huh? Yeah, it was an odd. I was never worried, but.
No.
Well,
No.
good.
Did the job.
It did. This is when you're thankful for active striking bans.
For sure.
Move it over a little bit.
And Emma Wallingford had expressed her surprise at the triple not being a huge weight triple and wondering how she could have possibly made that. Well, the answer to that is that these active striking bans really do allow rocks to move out of the house. So,
Okay.
and of course the shot happened, so no surprise there.
Yeah. She had like normal takeout weight on that rock, on that shot, and she hit all three of those rocks just perfectly, and there was no problem with any of them getting out of the rings.
I just think we needed to.
So Wallingford moved that guard around a bit just to change the shot up for the ROZON team.
Right, let's. Yes, hard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, whoa. No, you're gonna nose it.
Yeah, we're nosing. Okay.
There we go. Sorry, Bree.
So unfortunately that was a nose, but the good news for the ROZON team is that the rock is in a quarter guard position, so that leaves at least one side of the sheet open.
Sorry. It's okay.
But the Wallingford team, a great
I'll peel on my first one anyway.
great chance if they can sink
Nice here. Pardon?
a rock nicely into the top four here. But actually it looks like we've got a timeout called
Mine.
by Team Wallingford.
Yeah, but then if they double peel. Yeah.
I like the draw.
Oh, nice.
Like,
Because then if she peels, I can go on top 12, so we're half.
you were like,
Can be top 12.
The coaches are making their way over, so we'll listen into what they're saying.
well, I know. I was like, oh, that must feel good for a lead to make a try.
I went down, I was like, that's my lead.
No, yeah. Emma kind of laughed too. She was like, what did she say? She said, that's the rarest triple I've ever seen or something like that. She said something about the triple. I don't know. Yeah.
Like we're super short. So that's when you think that's the edge. You don't want to go into the four, right?
Yeah.
Almost a different, like mid 4.
So if they
Yeah.
rip, you're not going to go.
I'm peeling all day. I'm peeling even if they come around. Yeah.
Or you're going to split side four to top four. Or even if she gets in roll. You don't want to guard it.
Okay, yep.
You know
Yeah.
you go this.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I agree. Good time out. Yeah, what does he mean side forward? So like if I throw here, he wants me to put my next one here? Is that what he was saying?
No, she's talking about your second shot is what he's talking about. This one, right behind the guard.
Yeah, but the second one, what was he talking
The second one just even. Like side of the four here.
Okay. But I think this is good still.
Yeah. Yeah, right there.
So I don't think the shot changed here, Mary.
No, I think what he was more focusing on is what to do on her second shot, which I'm a little surprised because she has to make the first shot first. So he's assuming she's going to come around this guard and put it top 4 foot. and then he knows the ROZON team will peel the guard. And then he wanted to discuss with them, if that situation happens, where to put the next rock.
That's great.
So we will see how this plays out.
Line's good, starting to go. Yeah, really. Line's good, yeah. Line's great. Switch if you can. Yep, bring it here. Line's great. You got a good one, yep. Hard, Liz, all you got. Line's really good. Yep, all you got, all you got. Nice spot, Em. Good sweep. Okay.
Now, Danielle, this yellow rock is half exposed. Do you just hit that?
That's a good question, Mary. It's tempting.
Yeah, I think I would. I really do.
Because they're still going to have to make a draw in, and
Really clean. Really?
the best they could possibly do in this case, if they had hit that, the Wallingford team, the best they could possibly done was the side forefoot, and they would have left the entire button open. And we like these big buttons here at Annandale.
Yes. See, the problem with what ROZON just played here, she's now going to have to throw against the loss, as opposed to if she had gotten rid of the rock in the rings, all she would have to face is a possible tie on her last rock. Now they're going to put another rock in the rings here. Now it's going to be fairly open. She will just have to, well...
And throwing more weight. I think this should be fine. We kind of have to play it.
Playing a tap here.
I think so, by that ice that they're giving.
This week has come right down to the wire. Right? So it's not going to stress her out. Did you see it?
Nice, good, back four. Yep.
At least don't get me
Yep.
up to
Yep, line. Room. Line's good, yep. Room. Yep, line. Hard line. Hard line. Oh, where is it? Yep, yep. Whoa, yep. Whoa. Lindsay, yep. Whoa. Nice shot.
Looks like they actually ended up playing the cover out, of course, and they called the timeout just to take some time, but no need for the coaches to come out.
Play double? I think so.
Just calm down. Your call. I like this. That's a great spot. Yeah. Just knows it.
I just want to make sure we were
Oh,
by
for
and
sure.
then finish it.
For sure. That was scary because I was a little tight on my hand.
So Brianna ROZON is electing to play the double in this case, so this is the double for the win. I mean, it's at least as long as they remove one of these rocks, they're going to an extra end. So you're not going to lose by playing this shot.
Yeah, I think she has to play this shot.
Less. That was like 8, so.
Seems to have quite a bit of ice here, though, so I like it's a safe ice call.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Yes. Hard. Oh!
And we are going into extra ends on our feature sheet. With that jam, Wallingford picks up the steal, and it is all tied up at 6. That'll be Team ROZON with the hammer in the extra end.
So the two teams can take a small break here going into the extra end.
We'll take a second to catch you up on what's happening on the rest of the sheets. So we only have 2 sheets left on the ice, as you can see, right next to each other. Sheet 1, it was Team Richard with the win over Team Hahn. On sheet 2, Team Little win over Team Kiemel. On sheet 3, it was Team Fayez with a win over Team Steep. Sheet 4, actually, they're going into an extra end. We just couldn't see them from where we were. So they will be back out on the ice shortly after their 3-minute break. Team Hall and Team Leung walked off the ice, but it's difficult for us to tell from here who actually won that game. It was quite an explosion behind here with the crowd, but we were so focused on our sheet we couldn't see what was going on. Of course, Team Warner and Team Murphy, it's Team Murphy still clinging on to their lead, 5-4 lead. They have 2 rocks left to play in this end. And on sheet 8, it was Team Wilsey hung on for a 6-5 win over Team Marshall. We can actually see from this wide shot that last 2 rocks to come. This is the rock from last rock from Team Murphy. And that is good for the W. So Team Murphy defeating Team Warner. Just thinking back to our feature sheet, we
Thoroughly unforgettable performance. Thoroughly unforgettable performance.
I know. At least we can hear now.
And we're back to our feature sheet where Team Wallingford tied it up in the 10th end with a steal of 1 against Team ROZON. So we are into the extra end, folks.
This is the first extra end we've seen, Danielle, on this sheet.
Starting to curl. Starting to go.
It is. So now with the extra end and all other sheets are off the ice, this has the potential to change the ice conditions. So the players need to be prepared. It's going to be colder out there. That might mean that there's less curl than they've seen before. Also, after 10 ends of play, they might have to watch out for spots that are fudging. We haven't seen it yet. The ices seem to hold up pretty well. But you've always got to be careful with the slide path.
Line's good.
That's lots.
Just stay close because it's probably slowing down a lot.
Two or deep.
Starting to carve. Starting to carve. All you, Mel. Looks pretty good. Just top 8, top 4. Whoa, that's good, that's good, that's good. Whoa. Okay. Good. Really nice. Nice.
Beautiful shot.
Do we throw a 3? Big and 3.
So not only can she make triples, but she can draw the 4-foot as well.
Or we can throw a 3.
Multi-talented lady.
Yes.
I think there's 78 on it. No, 75. Wait, it's curling enough. They're gonna
feel they're gonna move around.
Three. Oh, it looks all there. You got tons of room. Room. Three. Well, yep. Don't want to. Yep. Finally. Okay, well, finally. 4. 2 it almost. Almost. Yep, then. Okay.
And I just do that.
Yeah,
or
I
we
think
throw
so,
it away.
right? What?
Or we throw it away.
What about the tick shot, Danielle?
That's exactly where I was going as well, Mary.
Yeah.
I
know.
mean, you might as well try it.
Yeah.
I do not like the freeze on that top
I don't
rock.
like. I'd rather if you go here, I'd rather you end up here than a guard, right? Yeah. Oh, I don't want to throw a guard. Yeah. Okay. Top 12.
Because if they overlap these rocks, if it's
Could be trouble for them later
it
in
could,
the end.
absolutely,
Yeah.
even though the rock is staying in the top 4.
Four, 5.
Is it here? Where is
If
it?
it stops like the last one, it's like a 4, 5.
Looks
So
like
it's
they're going to have to go
probably
to plan
here. Okay,
B.
Mel, yep, a little bit. Okay, well, you're by.
Good spots right now. All the way by? Like,
No.
can I keep going?
Yeah, right back, right back, right back.
And good
Alright.
call on that plan B.
That's fine.
If
think
it,
so.
if it wasn't going to be where it was,
That one
you
didn't
really had
stop
to
the same
sweep
way.
it so that they couldn't freeze and be shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, top 12's okay too. Okay. My 81 on that. Okay, I think we got 5's good. 5's perfect. 5's perfect. 5. Yep. 4. Yep. 4, 3. Hard. 4. You gotta balance it at least. Come on, you're mine. Hard, Hannah. Good. That's good, Lynn.
Good spot, Lynn. Really good.
Yeah, pretty good spot there. The
Did a
rub
great
off the
spot.
guard was helpful. They've got 2 in the control zone. Team ROZON will need to good peel on this guard.
Well, just clean. Yep, 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 yep.
Didn't get the
Just
peel, but at
tap.
least rolled over to a corner
The
position.
frozen? Yeah. Pardon? Yeah.
Even T-line isn't bad.
Just nose.
Okay.
Your tap curled here and you were pretty heavy, I'm just saying. Pardon? Your tap last time curled quite a bit and you were heavy, I'm just saying.
No, it was this
You
thing.
gotta
too.
curl
She was
center.
really curled, and she was really heavy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Moved it over a little bit.
Gotta go then. Line's good. Wait if you can. No, line's good. Yep, yep. 7. Whoa. Yep, yep. Keep going, keep going. Okay.
Spot option to get. I didn't think it was that light.
So they've created a
Just-
pocket here. I'd be tempted just to run
Like
that yellow
nose?
one right back into the
Yeah,
middle.
I was gonna say.
I like nose. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was just straight light. 9.
Yep.
What do you think, Mary?
I never said 7.
I agree, Danielle. Yeah, she's got to, I mean, she's sitting there nicely at the moment, but she has to think about the end of the end. She wants to have a shot to win this game, so needs to get rid of these front yellow rocks.
Okay, not bad.
Actually, that ended up working out
Yeah,
for them with the overlap.
Just a little inside nose. Yep.
You can tell Melanie might be getting a little bit tired. She had talked about her legs being tired, and that was underthrown from what they were hoping for.
And I didn't want to peel it the other way.
The timeout called by
Are we hitting it?
Team Wallingford.
No, I didn't think so.
Well, then I saw you pop it, so then I was like, oh, yeah. So I was like, wait, and I'll see if it goes, and
You
then
might
it didn't
want
really.
us to play like board weight and just get it now while we can.
Not bad.
Can we?
Thought we had it. They can't really tap it very easily.
I don't
Like they're gonna be
I
riding.
don't think so. I don't mind like lightweight, and this is might roll over here if we throw. That's what I mean.
And if they
it's gonna
don't,
move
you
over
just
here. Our
nose
shoe's
it
gonna
and they
stay, but at least we get.
or just off nose on this side, probably down the floor. Same kind of weight.
Longest game ever.
It's always the ones at night too. Like it's never the early ones, which I guess is good.
It's only 2. Yeah. Okay. Open and leave ours thrown.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not like nothing that would jam, but I would, like if they did that, I would come maybe off the inside of that one and do that. Yeah. Okay.
So this T line.
Yep. I already forgot.
Feel this side.
What timeout?
Our rocks are on this side. Do we think it's slower here? Yeah, I know, but
I believe they called for a T-line tap. Is that what you heard, Mary?
Yeah, I think he wants to, he just really is looking at jiggling around those rocks in front of the red rock.
As my former coach Pat Reed would say, redecorate the house.
Redecorate the house, yeah.
Don't need to throw out all the furniture and get new ones, just rearrange.
Move things around a bit, yeah.
a little heavy, I guess.
I actually like this call.
Okay. Whoa. Yep. Yes. Yep. Hard. Keep going. Hard. Keep going. A good one. Yep. Hard. Whoa. It's not awful.
Do you think we just do that?
Just more ice them? I guess. Well, it over curls.
Yeah, like roll it here.
Just like roll.
If
all the way
anything,
out.
we roll big.
Yeah. Huh?
What?
Same as you. Same as you.
I like that call, the hidden rolling behind, and like she said, roll big, so it's okay in this
I
case
can't hear you.
to roll
It's echoing.
further.
You like rolling out?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's in
that's
front
okay.
of the T line.
Okay. Just call it.
Okay. 10.
You can see it. It's just way more overlap now.
Yeah, you know, they got to be really careful with where their shooter ends up after this shot. They don't want
10.
to give Wallingford an out here.
So they're calling a 10, and she needs to make sure she's throwing a solid 10. So
No, I
because
think we
this
have
is
to
a
open it.
spot that we've
Doug's
seen
saying
curl.
we take any opportunity.
Whoa. Clean. Yep.
Yep. Hard, Jill. Hard. Yes, hard. Go, Bree. Go.
Really nice, Mel.
beautiful shot.
It's a
It
pretty
I know,
nice
I
shot.
couldn't, like, you were yelling, and I was like, all I hear is echo.
It just rolled back towards the button at the end. They
It
would have
did.
liked to have seen it continue to
small
move
tap.
over
Okay,
half
if
a rock,
you
but still
overcome
great
tap
shot.
this and
It is a
roll
great
here,
shot.
That's good too. Okay, okay. Actually, I think that's better. Let's just do that. All right.
Yeah, I'm like, it's in
Little
front of
less
the tee line.
weight.
Like, I don't know why.
I think Wallingford can still get at that
Just back.
I was
top
roll
red
back
one,
to,
maybe
like,
move
if
them
it-
off the
if it
forefoot.
hops, like,
Same
It's
weight
delicate
then?
though.
Yeah.
but yeah, but like you're like, all I hear is echo, and I'm like, oh.
Hair less. Yeah, then. Early. Early. Whoa, 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 whoa. No. Close. Back. Whoa. Close. Close. No, 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 no. Never, never, never. That's good. That's good.
Same thing.
Yep.
Another crucial
10.
hit and
Okay.
roll.
That weight was 10-4.
Okay,
Not a
I'll
bunch
throw
of
a
rocks
hair.
there, so
Great, I
let's hope we
think
can
if
put
she
one in
could
there.
just roll
Joe?
right directly in front of her other red rock.
Like, see, we got out further and then it just didn't curl. It just, whenever you get to that spot, it's
Absolutely.
You don't want them staggered where she can,
Yeah.
Wallingford
I would
can
go.
get a
Yep.
double.
Whoa,
clean.
whoa.
This
It's like it may be more of a 9-5 that she just threw.
This one's going to roll too far.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's a bad break.
I think so. Where did I have you?
It is.
Ish. Yeah, I think that's fine. The same ice that I gave you with the draw weight should be fine.
I was 9-5.
Right now, I'd
whole
like to
second
point out
faster.
it's 11:30 at night. These teams have played a couple games today, and
Did you say that?
Yeah.
it's late many ends. And
You said that was
not
10-4.
to mention
You
these
said I'll throw it a
girls
little-
have played with three
yeah.
for the last couple ends, and they've got to be feeling tired.
Oh, they must be exhausted and probably freezing.
Also
Being
that.
out there for 11 ends.
It can be a little
Well,
bit
we're at the
longer.
3-hour mark. They started at 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Even though there's no one out here, you were like talking to me, and I was like,
It's
I
okay.
still hear
Yeah,
echoes.
it's
Like,
Mine's good.
I was just like, this is a conversation we
Yeah.
got
Yep.
having.
Yep. Whoa, whoa. Room. Where? Close, yep. Whoa, room. 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 Hannah, if you can. Hard, Hannah. Hard, Hannah, yep. All you got. All you got. Yep, yep, yep. Good shot, good shot. Yep, yep, yep. Good. Really good. That's a really nice shot, Em. Really good. Good sweep. Thought you guys left it too long for a second.
So, you know, that is a nice shot. I think
That's good.
it's still exposed
really go.
enough for the ROZON team to pick it out of there.
I think I can get.
You just have to hit what you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have to be careful that they
Throw 11
hit
at
what
it.
they can see.
I like even throwing. Yeah.
But like you say, Danielle, the striking bands are so active here.
I
She
only
hits
have a
half a
minute
rock
left,
here. I
so.
still think if it
I
hits
like
the
even
red one,
throwing
they're all
more
going out
weight, like,
anyway.
even if I
Yeah.
catch it.
They probably should have kept
And then
And,
Wallingford will have another chance to draw around there. And
when you have an echo on the ice, that's something that Brienne
Like,
recognized
if
as
you hit what you
well.
can see, probably dodge it.
so another timeout called here by the ROZON team this time.
No, that's a really good spot because she can't hit it without jamming.
Then they'd come around again, right?
If it was the same height and we curled it a little bit more, but if it was any deeper, it makes it super easy.
Or I was thinking throw more just in case.
Brianna was thinking about throwing more, but I was actually thinking throwing less in case you did happen to chip yours. But
Fair.
let's listen in to the coach.
I think if we get hit what we can see, we can get by it.
Just letting a little bit.
No, that's why we say we're getting by that red if we hit what we can see.
But even if, like, there's no way we're
And
jamming
if they
on the back.
wreck,
We might
if they
pick it out, but
take
they're going out
the red with them and they roll out.
Do you like
we're
that?
second shot.
I don't see what
We're
else you
first
got.
shot, sorry.
Like 11?
And second.
I don't.
You missed
Yeah.
the guard.
Yeah.
Like 11?
I don't know.
I like throwing more weight than that because I don't want
Throw
to.
more weight because then,
And then if
you
it-
catch this one,
It's still.
there's still stuff open.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we
And
know.
I'll have
I
a little
know.
bit more room this time, like the
Yep.
red won't be there.
10 or 9?
10.
Okay.
As Coach Sean said, that's really the only shot they have.
Yeah.
So it's more talking about what kind of weight they're going to throw at it and really what they're feeling comfortable with throwing. I mean, I'd be tempted with more of a down weight hit just to make sure that if there was any contact with the red rock that it wouldn't spill it right out of the rings, as you had mentioned with the striking bands, Mary.
Right.
If they touch it, it might go, but see what happens. First rock for the ROZON team skip.
Better watch this. It will curl once it hits that center line. Lovely shot.
Okay, that's good.
That's fine, Bree.
Yep.
Take the same ice. A little bit less. I like the same ice.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's fine.
Or do you like a little less? No, I think the same's okay, except for half air. You just gotta stick it. Okay. That's good.
So this gives Wallingford another chance to throw the shot she just threw.
Like, how tight was I?
She would like to get more of the forefoot on this one.
It came like past here to here.
Bite the button would be
No,
perfect.
where did I throw it? Oh, I didn't think you were too tight. Okay, that's good. Maybe to here. Little more. Okay, that was good.
And yes, it does finish up once it hits that center line, so the teams have to be careful while playing with it, flirting with that center line. So last rock coming from Team Wallingford here in our extra end of our feature game.
Room, a little wider path. Wider path. Switch. Hannah's rock then. Hannah's rock. Line's good. Yep. Yep. Yeah, leave it top 12. Leave it top 12. Yep. Bring it deep though. Bring it deep though. Yep. Bring it deep. Yep. Far as it goes. Bite 8 foot. Yep. Yep. Heartlands. Okay.
With 1 minute left on the clock, Brianna ROZON doesn't hesitate, puts down the broom.
Sorry, guys.
This is a draw needing
Yeah.
a chunk of the 8 foot.
Even thought
For the
quicker,
win.
wider, it might run a bit more, but
We're out a bit further. Full 8, yep. I think 9.5. 4 intuitively okay? Okay.
Careful. Line's fine. Weight only. Gotta be 8 foot. Take a look. Take a look, take a look, take a look. Whoa, stop.
Great shot.
Beautiful shot. What a game, Mary.
That was a really good game.
And it is a 7-6 win for Team ROZON, with handing Team Wallingford their first loss of the competition.
And gaining their first win of the competition. So that was really interesting. A few, different situations happened in that game. The ROZON team losing one of their players halfway through the game and had to adjust to that. And they adjusted quite nicely. So what we got coming up here tomorrow, as you can see on your screen, we've got 3 draws tomorrow. Murphy versus Ald, 10 a.m. game here at the Annandale Curling Club. Then at 3 o'clock we have John Wilsey versus Matthew Hall. And possibly, if there are tiebreakers, we'll be showing that at 8:30 tomorrow night.
So we'd like to take this time to thank all of our viewers for tuning into our coverage of the 2017 Ontario U21 Curling Championships, brought to you by Curl On. On behalf of Mary, myself, and our entire TSL crew, we wish you a good evening from the Annandale Golf and Curling Club. This has been a presentation of Title Sports Live.